prefer to watch human behavior from afar. The ignorance, intelligence, and they art of war. Tragedy, strategy, put knowledge in the book. Change our language so we couldn't read it if we look. Convince us we ain't have shit here but disease made us 350.
So we just gonna cut the song off right when we ain't had shit but disease. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Virgo Virgin Talk with Sunshine Monet L.
And Danielle.
Yeah, we got it right. Why are we reversing it though?
I don't know. It just started coming out that way, and it was just like, okay, let's go with it. Like,
we gonna go with it.
Whatever happens, happens. I don't know why my laptop was like, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with this, and it just started. Yeah, my bad, y'all. We have more than diseases.
We're gonna have a script. We're gonna have a script. We definitely gonna come up with a script by the time the season finale comes. I'm so excited about that.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yes,
yes. This is our last episode. We're taking a little break prior to the season finale, and that's exciting. I'm going to bed.
It feels like the last day of school, don't it?
Yeah. This was such a great season, though. I learned so much and expanded so much in my brain, my frame of thought and things, and that's cool. That's what it's all about.
I know I have with mine. I can say, like, there's nothing that I've already known before that I couldn't build up on when doing each episode.
Yeah.
You know, I learned something new. When I thought I knew something already, I learned a lot more.
Right. Just kept expanding on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to expand with the knowledge. It makes me good in the inside, and it's just a fun experience. And womp womp womp. You muted now.
No, I was telling them kids they were talking too much in the background.
Oh.
See, I don't know if y'all can hear them like that, but we already know. Okay, for all you that haven't known me, and you know, I'm not a background sound type of person. So if I'm on the phone, everything gotta be in silence, you know what I'm saying, or turn all the way down to a minimum. I can concentrate. I can, you know, focus on one thing or whatever. But I don't like to hear it. You know, I don't like to hear it. I don't like to hear chitter chatter and stuff while I expect there to be silence. Like, I don't know. Because to me, it kind of sounds like that. I guess what they call it in theater when they have people just randomly talking in the background or whatever, you know, to give it some type of effect of like a crowd. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, the audience.
Yeah. And if I can't tune in on the conversation like that, I don't want to hear it. Yeah. So this.
Agreed. I'm not a big fan of all the like distractions.
Yes.
It's not what I like.
Yes. I can work in it, but I don't like it. I don't like all that extra noise and stuff. So, you know. Yeah.
The season has been, I've had some background noise on my end. I know between this dog and these kids and things in between, and I can't stand it, but it's okay. I'm glad we're finna take this little breaky break, but in between the break, we are doing interviews on the Virgo Virgin Talk Instagram page. So, a little quick 15-minute interviews if anybody's interested on Virgo Virgin Talk.
Indeed. So we're on a break. So we're out for school, but yet we're doing summer school.
Yeah, summer camp.
Exactly.
Yes. Today's episode, I'm excited about. We're going to talk about symbols, and the power of symbols. And we're going to talk about some symbols and their history and all that fun stuff. And we have an awesome guest to bring on the show. And so, like, I want him to have a few moments to introduce himself, talk a little bit about what he do before we get on into this episode. So, without further ado, we're going to bring the brother Knowledge Born Allah on here. The podcast Superman.
Peace, y'all.
Hey,
Can I do that?
peace.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yes.
Am I authorized? I don't want to get messed up because Danielle don't play no
How
games.
you feeling? How you feeling?
Greetings, knowledge.
Peace to the gods. I'm
Greetings, my
honored.
brother.
I'm honored to be in y'all
Peace.
presence. Okay, because God.
The sunshine had to put you in the headlock to get you here.
All she had to do was bat her eye at me. Just one eye, not even both. She just batted her eye.
One eye.
Come on over here.
Let's go.
It's definitely an honor to be here. Because God don't just invite you places. So it's beautiful to be over here. Virgo Virgin Talk, amazing platform.
I believe it.
Master God minds working together, conspiring for the betterment and the upliftment of our minds and our consciousness. So I'm here for it.
Word.
Indeed.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about who Knowledge Born Allah is? What do you do?
Yeah, because he in our house now. Now we're going to ask him the questions.
I win awards thanks to Let's Nobody. You see what I'm saying? They be loving us. They be loving us. Okay.
Hey! Hold that up a little closer. Hold that up a little closer. I gotta see that thing is just that thing is banging. That thing bling blinging. That thing is banging.
Bling. Every time I cover on you,
everybody ain't got one of them. Everybody ain't got one of them. Everybody don't deserve one of them. So you gotta be somebody special and doing your thing to get one of those.
Right.
For real.
So I'm definitely, honored to be in that number when the Saints was marching in, because everybody ain't, they was marching out, but they ain't all marching in. Okay, so
all right.
So to know that, to know that God thought enough about what you do and your offering to the world to recognize you, that's one of those ones. That's a special space. You see what I'm saying? That's a special space up there in the constellations. We be going through the planetary forecasts and the placements and the charts and all of that. Like, how will you be remembered in the annals of history for your work, for your contributions? Like, who will remember you when you leave this space? So, if everybody front on me, at least I could take this with me to the other side. Like, yo, son, I was there, son. I did this. I did this.
Yeah, that's your token of need. That's definitely your proof of good deeds right there.
That's proof. You see what I'm saying? That's proof. And it's a symbol of the greatness of God herself. So that's what I do. That's who I am, and that's what I do.
Awesome. So I got a question for you. When did you first start your podcast? When was Knowledge Born Radio created? And why did Knowledge Born Radio?
Well, do the knowledge.
Yeah, do the knowledge. All right, look, I'm all wrong, and I've been on the show. Do the Knowledge Radio for one day,
you did it right. You did it right. It's all good. They one in the same. So I had to say do the knowledge radio because people was calling me do the knowledge for like 6 years. They was like, yo, son, do the knowledge. I was like, yeah, do the knowledge. My name is Knowledge Born Allah. Nice to meet you. They was calling me Born. They was calling me Born Knowledge. It was like Allah Born Knowledge. it was a whole bunch of stuff going on with the name. So it took a while for my name, and then it took a while for the brand. But there was always like, yeah, the knowledge radio that we doing, right? I said,
First
right?
of all, it's a pimp named Slickback, okay? And you must say a pimp named Slickback.
That's look.
So you
know,
gotta say everything, okay? You can't no cutoffs, no none of that, right?
With it. Right. So I was just like, hey, just don't call me late for dinner. You see what I'm saying? Don't call me late for dinner. In the N-word. Don't call me your N-word or late for dinner. I'm good. So
Okay.
right. So that was something that I started in Black August of 2015. So this is our 8th year in rotation and over 3,000 episodes and counting.
Oh, yes.
So it
I
was
seen that.
birthed out of the celebratory space of those who couldn't speak for themselves, those who have been forgotten. So that's why I resonate so much with Less Nobodies, because you out there. There's an illuminated space for stars that you see, but there's millions of other stars that you don't see based off of that particular placement of the sun. So you see it or you don't see it. Even in the night sky, depending on the noise pollution or what you got going on in the earth or what you got going on in your mental, they're not illuminated. So for the ones you see, there are millions of those that you don't see. So in that story space, we wanted to include all of those brilliant minds from those brothers and sisters, especially the sisters. Oh, if y'all remember the catastrophe that was the virtual space, like you'd be like, peace, y'all. Today's a nice day. Actually, nice means dumb, sis. Why would you even say nice? We try to call it an idiot day. Like, I'm like, what happened? What's the shift in consciousness where a black woman come on the internet expressing joy and love and she met with so much hatred? Like, what happened? I was like, oh, these must be the ones we got to exterminate. So I'm like, all right, no doubt. So I went through that process of refining the stories that needed to be told surrounding our people, our nation, our tribe, our kith, our kin, from a multitude of levels. So just giving credence in that space is how it was born, and it's dedicated to my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. So literally with my family and my family story not being properly told in a position where they were honored, I took it upon myself to recognize it and move it in that space. On the same day as Michael Jackson, he was the star. So, boom.
Indeed. Sis had muted. Oh, I thought she was about to ask a question. I'm like, well, you muted, sis.
No.
So, if you didn't know then, you know now.
Knowledge Born Allah is the podcast God. This is the God of the crossroads of communication, of one celestial star seed to the next, of this universe, the last and the next. He is the mission control. Okay? This is the go-to God.
So you guys, you've been on his show several times, Sunshine. I had the pleasure of being on there one time with you some weeks ago, about a month ago or so. So what's it like? What type of podcast you do when you are a guest on Knowledge Born Allah? Uh-oh.
Oh man, repeat that question for me.
Oh, sis, it kind of went out my head. Okay.
She said, "What kind of show do you do on Do the Knowledge Radio?" That's what she had said. She told me.
Oh, what kind of show?
Yeah,
what you be doing over there? Yeah, when you're not over here with me, what you be doing over there? I'm all in your business. What you be doing over there?
Yeah. I gotta know.
I was trying to get my laptop cord before it died. The drone just popped up like, yeah, plug me up. And
All right, knowledge born. What podcast, what subjects you and Sunshine speak on when you have her as your guest on there? Because I know it's very different from what we do here at Virgo Virgin Talk.
Sunshine be sunshining, okay? That's what she do. Sunshine be sunshining wherever she go and however she flows. I'm telling you, we met through a mutual God, and we've been inseparable, okay, for years and years now. So an integral part from that introduction to what we doing to everybody love her. She's always somewhere in the mix. They'll be like, yeah, I got this special guest coming on. She's super duper fly. You would love her. I'll be like, word, what's up? Who is it? They'd be like, oh, Sunshine. I'll be like, I love Sunshine. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't just me that was affected by all of this greatness. Like, you can attest to. It was the multitudes. Okay, she was given unto the multitudes because everybody that loves sun loves sunshine. You see what I'm saying? If you don't love the sun, you ain't gonna love sunshine. Sunshine gonna be on your nerves. Sunshine gonna be messing up your biochemistry and all of that. But if you love the sun, then you gonna love sunshine. You see what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be like, yo, it's bad hot out here, son. It's gonna be like, nah, I'm thankful to see the sun and the sun see me and shine on my face. You see what I'm saying? So she did a myriad of things. So I was around for a bunch of greatness, a bunch of offerings, a bunch of her service because her heart is huge and it's vast. So she was teaching us how to break generational curses. She was teaching us, how to get the forex together. She was teaching us how to forage. She was teaching us how to live off grid. She had always had so many jewels that couldn't be encapsulated in one sitting. You see what I'm saying? So she did that, and then she loved us enough. It was like, all right, I'm gonna start showing y'all love. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna start showing y'all love. Like, let's get this less nobody's thought from this determined idea she had to let's get this less nobody's family, less nobody's community, less nobody's nation to less nobody's universe. So all of us nobodies, she made us somebody. You see what I'm saying? She was like, oh, I see you, star. I see you. I see you. I see you shining over there in that constellation. Ain't nobody looking over there but me. I got you. Come on. And got us together. And now it's a less nobody's movement. You see what I'm saying? It's a less nobody's lifestyle. That's with it. So all of it came from an introduction, and it went from an introduction to a lifestyle. So there's nothing that I'm doing that she's not involved in. You see what I'm saying? And you don't keep everybody around stuff that you building and what you manifesting and all of that. You be strictly guarding, like who around, like who that, like who your friend, who all over there. You don't even go to nobody else. If you
that's why I had to ask what you doing over there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So she over there being great. She over there being great and challenging us to be greater. She over there being great and challenging us to be greater. So, I'm thankful and honored that she chose it because just because you start somewhere don't mean that you're going to stay someplace. You see what I mean? You be like, oh, this ain't it. Like, oh, you told me this was a party. This shit whack. Let me start turning tables over and get up out of here. You see what I'm saying? Like, so for her to stay as long as she stayed and to do the things that she's doing, I think it's remarkable. Super duper.
Thank you. I love what I do on Do the Knowledge. I just be over there, talking my knowledge on Do the Knowledge. Stuff I
thoroughly enjoyed myself. I can say he is a very great interviewer. Very great in very versed in his knowledge as well. I've picked that from quite a few episodes of yours, and which is going to lead me to my next question. Out of 3,000 episodes, though, right? What is your most memorable episode?
Lord, please don't do that to me, Danielle. We was cool.
Yes,
we was close. We was tight. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I love her. I'm like, what?
What is your most memorable episode?
I didn't like it when it was 2 episodes. I don't
Oh,
like
what
it
was
when
the
it
episode
was
that you usually
50.
learn from?
I didn't like it when it was 100. I didn't like it when it was 1,000. I didn't like it when it was 2,000. I don't like it when it's 3,000. But I'm gonna answer it because you asked it, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna answer it because you asked it. If somebody else would have asked it, I'd have been like, out of 3,000, out of 3,000, I got to pick one. I was just on today with Sunshine Monet L, okay, and she was discussing our
Oh,
existence
food.
from the spiritual and the material space. So the birth space from a spiritual perspective and a physical perspective. And I learned that we are not in this by ourselves. We're not in here alone. We have greatness that's conspiring us to propel ourselves forward. And she said it's a sin to have the audacity to be trying to think you could just duck off in the space and you're gonna pay for it. You see what I'm saying? If you over there ducking off in the space and not operating in the space of gratitude. So out of 3,000 episodes and counting, my most memorable one was the one we just had over there. I had a chance to build with Sunshine on the L because she be so busy. You know what I'm saying?
I knew he
And
was going.
it
I
just
knew he was
worked
going to
out
mention something with sunshine.
to that. Because sunshine
But why would he
be
not?
sunshine. Okay. Sunshine be sunshine
Yeah. She does make some memorable moments, though. You know what I'm saying? I have to say, myself.
at all times. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what. That was
yeah.
a
I ain't
really
gonna
good
hold you on that
episode. If anybody's
one. It
interested, that
was.
was an episode on comparing the physical and the spiritual birth. How they're in
Mhm.
alignment, and you know other things along that. Nice episode. Hi, Jupiter.
Indeed.
So I want to talk to y'all about the power of symbols. Symbols are fun. Symbols
I was gonna
represent
ask
different
you
things.
favorite symbol before we got into that. That was gonna be my last question right there. What is your
What's
favorite
that?
symbol?
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
What's my favorite symbol?
Yes. What is knowledge born Allah favorite symbol?
What's the little symbol you doodle in your notebook when you're
Yeah.
not really paying attention?
It
What's your
gotta be some
go-to
black
symbol?
woman. The black woman is my go-to symbol at all times. I just say that for
Okay.
the record. Okay. Was that good? Do I need to explain that or am I good? Somebody getting the phone
I
call?
didn't hear
Jesus.
it. We didn't hear
Jesus
it.
was calling.
My bad.
Oh, my
Oh,
favorite symbol. Yeah,
Jesus
my
main
favorite
line.
was on the main line. Like, hey, tell that boy to calm down. Okay. Yeah, no, my symbol is my favorite symbol is the black woman. You see what I'm saying? She's symbolic of heaven, earth, life, death, resurrection, all of the things that are encompassed in this physical, spiritual, emotional, and psycho space. What's a greater symbol than her? For those who are symbol literate. Okay.
I like it. I like the answer.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. For God so loved the world that she gave her only begotten son. Okay? So I'm saying, for God so loved the world that she gave her only begotten son. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm my mother's son, 100%. 100%.
It's valid.
That's what's up. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, I definitely wasn't expecting that. So it's pretty valid to me though. I don't see no
Yeah,
reason why not. I mean, we
you
women,
know,
we are kind of popping.
it is a very nice symbol to be. I won't lie to you.
I ain't hold you neither. Gotta be over here and cheesy, like, yeah, we is bomb, ain't we?
So I got into the whole etymology on symbol, and symbol, the first three letters is in alignment with the word sin, which means together, put together. And then bowl is like bolel, and that means like casting or throwing. So when you put the word symbol together, it means throwing together or casting or and that's cool because you spell words and then I guess you like cast them together. I don't know. That was the little put together I put together in my head.
Hey, that's what they say it means, sure. And where did the word derive from? Where do they get the word from? Symbol.
I believe it was Greek, Latin. They went about
I
that
was gonna say
different.
either have it been Greek, English, French. What they got the main languages and they got the oldest languages, right? What you would think. They get
Right.
all these
None of
words.
them said too
They
much
get
about our
every word.
language. None of this
Right.
shit is our shit. So it doesn't surprise me that our shit wouldn't pop up. This ain't our tongue at all. So
Right.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Not at all.
yeah.
We don't
So
need
this is
words.
yeah, right. We've never needed words. We'd be looking at each other having full blown conversations.
Yeah. And then people just
Mm-hmm.
start leaving. That's it. So the residual markings that are there, well, I can go to symbols. In one of the societies, they say symbols are sensible images used to express a hidden meaning.
Hmm.
So these
Mm-hmm.
sensible images, so you use your senses to express these hidden meanings. So you can see a symbol or sigil marking. So the sigil marking is reflective of your cultural upbringing or the society that you come from, whether it be religious,
Hmm.
spiritual, whatever it is. So the symbols resonate with you based off of that acculturation. So a symbol in one tradition doesn't necessarily equate to its universality. It might deal with its specificity, and depending on the particular culture or society, its connection to it. So it may be a symbol that's to be coveted, a symbol to be respected, or a symbol to be abhorred. So where it's like, nah, we don't use that over here. So all of the societies that we know have cultural nuances that decides whether or not the symbology in the society is used to express upliftment or disdain. So, based upon your God system in that space, also, you have what are called things that are acceptable and things that are taboo. So, all of these begin with the sigil markings and how these lines intersect or commingle with one another to express something deeper. You might look at Exxon and be like, oh, that's the gas station. You ain't connected it to the society and say, nah, you getting double crossed. Why you paying for gas? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why you paying for gas twice? You paying for
Mm-hmm.
gas in your home and gas to go from your home to a place that's taxing you. You see what I'm saying? It's taxing to your body and your spirit. So you get double crossed at the gas station or the shell. It's a hustle, some kind of shell game they playing with you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay. They also at war with the mommy waters. You see what I'm saying? Of the water. So they got the shell. They stealing it. So they're stealing the birthrights of that divine feminine energy, and they putting it out there right in front of you. Like, nah, son, I'm just going to the Shell gas station. You see what I'm saying? So the car
Mm-hmm.
shells and all of it. So all of these symbols that are here, from transformation to love, they all are used to express the hidden meaning. So it's causing you to go into the inner sanctum of your mind to be able to decode the symbology that's taking place. So you like, all I see is a star and a circle with some stuff around it. I don't know what that is. But if you're in a particular culture where that's prominent, They give you that whole breakdown. And the reason why, the star is in the middle and it's a 5-pointed star versus the 6-pointed star and everything that's going around. You see what I'm saying? All these things have a resonance depending upon how you are acculturated. So the sigil markings are thoughts that become things, and then we give those things life and credence. Because I saw one of those words was creed. This is something that you live by. So that's my short answer. I'm gonna get out of y'all way and take notes from y'all great minds.
Hold on now. We ain't just gonna run past that Mommy Watson's in the Shell gas station with the sea shell as a symbol on there,
You
the symbol of
just
gas.
got bombs over
we need
here.
to run right back. You know what I'm saying? We need to rewind back to that part right there. Because, we big on mermaids around here,
Right.
So, that's a huge symbol. Okay. That's a huge representation of something that means a lot more deeper than what people think is just they gonna get some damn gas, and they just decide to call it the Shell station and paint the colors there red and yellow. So
our goddess colors.
Yeah, we need to have.
So what did they steal and what did they set up? Shell corporations, right? You see what I'm saying? Like they playing the shell game. It's the hustle, it's the grind. So one of the divination tools are shells. So when you look at the divination tools in whatever particular system, one of those are shells. Some are bones. So these things are living things that are timeless. They don't expire. Like bones don't die. Your body can totally decompose, and your bones will still be there. They're still finding bones from time immemorial. So that ancient connectedness to the earth, things that are timeless. So that connection, to the earth as we have on earth as it is in heaven type of situation. So all of these symbols, and you need a translator to be able to walk you through their culture to get into their language. So it looks like this. Everything has a language. We got the programmers out there, they programming, they're coding. What are they doing? You see what I'm saying? Like, what are they doing? And what are these words that we're using? And how are we being cast? You see what I'm saying? How are we being cast? So are we being cast in a particular role, or lots being cast to determine our fate? You see what I'm saying? Since we're spelling out here.
Right.
Since we casting spells out here, but ain't nobody supposed to be no witch or nothing like that. You see what I'm saying? They having Salem witch trials right here in regards to censorship right in front of our space because we're not speaking our mother tongue. So
because our like you were saying, our symbols had deeper meanings. Like, the symbols that we use today, they're pretty shallow. Like the letters and numbers that we utilize, they have deeper meaning, but we don't have knowledge of it. So like we use it for like, shallow needs. Like, just to say the sentence that I'm saying right now, that's what I'm using it for. But like if
the
you can see
Moses.
Exactly. But like how you see in the image here, it's like they would write a symbol down, put two symbols down, and it would be a whole proverb. They would write in proverbs because the mindset was that intelligent people don't speak in layman terms. Intelligent people speak in proverbs. And that's why they would speak the way they would speak. And that's how it is now. Like once you find yourself getting to a certain level of life, you find yourself speaking in a way that a everyday individual, they can't really interpret what you're saying, and it irritates them. So they go to is to like try to shame you or ridicule you for your vernacular, your word choice, or oh that's weird, oh everybody's saying grand rise and ha ha, everybody da da da. But once you get yourself to a certain level, you have a certain amount of knowledge, you realize that okay, we don't use those words anymore. Like Danielle, I remember a minute ago you told me about how people ask you, how did you feel when you wake up? Because you don't know how you feel when you sleep because you sleep. And so I apply that now when I talk to people, like, how did you feel when you wake up? Like, when you rose, did you remember any of your dreams, whatever, whatever. Like, it changed the conversation now because now there's a different understanding of like, oh, okay, like kind of right, like how did you sleep? You could kind of answer that, but not really, unless you was tossing and turning or something.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how it goes. When you have
It's a
certain knowledge,
curse on those
your voice
also and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. You kind of broke up a little bit, sis. I don't know if Knowledge Born Allah was able to hear you.
Oh, I was just saying, like, the way we used to write our symbols were full ideas. They wasn't just
Right.
letters or numbers or words. They were like full on ideas and proverbs. And that's how we spoke, the intelligent people. Like, once you get yourself to a certain level, you speak in proverbs, and that's normalized. You don't really want to speak the same anymore.
That is true
Um,
though. And
mhm.
back when I was like going to church or whatever when I was younger, whatever. And I used to think to myself, like, you know what? I want to be so well versed in the Bible. I just want to be able just to quote whatever it is that Jesus said. Say somebody offend me, I'm going to throw them a Bible verse. I'm going to throw them out some proverbs. I'm going to throw them out this. I'm going to throw them out that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, me not knowing anything, fast forward to this conversation now, not relating, it's in a relation to how my mindset was of my spiritual, awakening, because that's how I wanted to be. So yeah, that correlates to what you were saying about, once you get knowledgeable on certain things, you do start speaking differently. That tongue comes out differently and you become more fluent in it. So yeah, I get that.
This
Agreed.
kind of remind me of what I was talking about in See Sun podcast, and I was talking about, like, you hug one tree, you're gonna hug all the trees because all the trees are
Mm-hmm.
connected by a root. But then I was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of energy moving towards us to remove us from this unity with this level of nature. The way our shoes are designed, having rubber, we've been trained to tell our children to go outside, put some shoes on, don't play in the dirt because that's dirty, that's
Mm-hmm.
nasty. Like, I watched this couple, this little baby, she was, maybe about to turn 2, new walker. And she was digging in the dirt, and there her parents were so irritated. They're calling her dirty, stop it, don't do that, whatever. And I'm just in my head like, how can you get upset about her playing in dirt? That's like the cleanest thing that she could do. But that's what our mind has taught us. It's disconnected us from this level of unity with nature. The cement is on top of a lot of the roots of our ancient trees. We don't have access to our ancient trees. Out here in Philadelphia, they put cement over the majority of the mountains out there. You're not really going out there and stepping barefoot on mountains to get some of them ancient trees. They gated away or they cemented up. So, you got all of that going on to separate you because they know, like, electromagnetically speaking, you go ahead and stand on that grass with no shoes on, a connection is going to
Right.
occur. But that's the vibes I get with
Mm-hmm.
this tree of life symbol, is that interdependence and that interconnectedness of life, nature, natural cycles of things.
Yeah, the tree of life represents the afterlife and the connection between earth and heaven. So, the bond and affection of trees so deep that they say it was first used around the Damunt Tepe excavations in Turkey. I don't
Okay.
even know if I said that right. Damunt Tepe, I guess, or Tepe excavations in Turkey, about 7,000 BC. And yeah, they said that the Celts believed that the actual trees were their ancestors and gatekeepers to the Celtic other world. So, as such, the tree of life in the Celtic culture is sacred. That's what that, and that's probably why timberland uses the tree. Except they don't have the leaves on it; it just got the branches.
Because that's what it's
But they
blocking
got
you
them
from.
same roots.
The ancient tree. The timberland is the prototype boot to block you from electromagnetic energy. That shit fucking the
Right.
best
The
video
rubber,
I've
right?
because
Yeah.
they're destroying Mother Nature. Okay.
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah, so you're gonna have that. So you don't get the penalty. But that's why none of your buildings stay.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that ironic though? Like
Mhm.
how they
To
use the
them, it's a
same
joke.
symbolism, mean life, but they want to block it. And then they have no leaves on their tree. They just have all just dead branches though. And
Mm-hmm.
We
Because
people
they
will
don't
fight
even
over
know.
they
symbols
don't
just
they
as bad
don't
as they do
lie,
spring.
okay? They
Yeah,
don't
they don't
lie.
They
even
don't
know
lie.
They
what
say
they're
the
doing.
devil is
Yeah.
look, they say the devil is a lie, and they don't lie. They're not lying. They're like, hey,
Just think
we
about
never said
how
we
many of
were
us walked
anything.
around with Tim's on though before knowing, you know what I'm saying, like that information.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the guy from Timberland was like, I didn't make it for you people to be walking around. It's like it's there for destruction that they call construction. It's
Mm-hmm.
destruction. You have to
Yeah.
destroy a bunch of natural things to construct something for you to dwell in,
Hmm.
as if
Yeah.
nature doesn't provide you everything we need. And this is why, my symbol is her, because we forgot about her. We're not grounded no more. We're not walking around barefoot. We get by the door and be thinking about, oh, I got to get something on my feet type of situation. And we see our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors return, fly right by us barefoot. You know what I'm saying? Out there running in the
Mm-hmm.
street, like bottles, nothing, none of that stuff even matter. I'm saying rocks, all of that. You like whatever. Like you can train the soles of your feet to be shoes like you will have shoes on. You see what I'm saying? Like now your connectedness, your interconnectedness with life is stifled and based off of the alchemical change. So rubber was something before it was rubber, so it had to be destroyed and repurposed. So it's like, all right, well, you need that
Right.
for what particular climate? Who needs shoes? People who in a mountainous climate and a cold
They
climate.
killing the rubber
So
trees for the Tims.
right,
But they had the
right.
moccasins though. They didn't even need those. The moccasins was rocking and they
Well,
warmer.
when you aversion to nature, when you're unnatural, you just make stuff
You
and
make
make people.
Timberland.
Yeah, you make people
You make
want
them.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, you make them want it. You see what I'm saying? You make them want it. So it's like, all right, no, you can't have this. Oh, I'm gonna buy more of it. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, consumerism. So yeah, this tree of life that y'all was showing got a resonance, for a particular subset of a culture as well. So it's there, and those symbols they express a hidden meaning. So
I found it interesting that they thought that the ancestors were the trees.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
our connection
Right?
to life, it
Right.
it, it extends beyond just what we
Yeah.
see with one another. With nature, everything was alive. So in the Nile Valley, we set in the tear. So if you talked about God in that place, you talked about God in all of those different sorts of manifestation. So the Natir that would govern this is something that you would work with if you wanted crops, if you wanted, to bless yourself agriculturally. So the same with the mothers of the water, the same with the mothers of the earth. You see what I'm saying? So all of these designations had a resonance based off of what you wanted to do as a vocation or what your offering was to the society. It's only now that we do things that are contrary to our nature and call them occupations.
Mm-hmm.
So we do things contrary to our nature, contrary to our natural order. If they say self-preservation is the first law of nature, why do you got landfills and why are you burning trash and all of this stuff? Like, why are you doing these things? So you can inhale
Right.
these things, and they could be on your lungs. You have spores on your lungs, and all kind of inhalation. Like, why would you affect your body in that way? Oh, yeah, they want to burn up your insides. That's why, because the other part of their vocation, they want you on all of these experimental medications, and they want you burn up your insides on the inside and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to do this chemotherapy. We're going to use this radiation to
Yeah,
burn up
yeah,
your
yeah. We're gonna
insides
kill
and,
everything.
and cook you.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we cook
Yeah.
you, we're going to serve you up, and you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for us to cook you and sacrifice you. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So those ones who are in aversion to nature recognize the natural state and the flow of everything. So if the trees are timeless and we come from a timeless space, we can't even go back to calculate our first ancestor. So we're just as timeless as the trees, just as timeless as the sun, just as timeless as the seasons. So something appears to be in a state and we acknowledge it as the state that it's in. So you see the leaves fall off the tree, and that's supposed to symbolize, life, death, and rebirth. But it appears in a state, but it's timeless. You don't know how old a tree is until you cut it open and you begin to look at
Right.
its rings. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So just
Right.
like you see a sister, you don't know how old she is until she tell you. You don't know. You
Right.
ain't got a clue. You see what I'm saying? So the timelessness about that, when we were in tune with nature, we see how long we were on the earth. So when the commandment say, goes back to what you said, Danielle, about, you wanted to be able to give these proverbs out, you're doing that. You wanted to be able to give these words of God out, you're doing that. So the commandment says,
Mhm.
honor thy mother and thy father, so the days might be long on the earth. You thinking about just your parents? What about nature? What
Right.
Mother Nature? What about
Mhm.
Father Nature? So that their days be long on the earth. The deforestation and all of these attacks on Mother Nature, she's responding. You understand? Like she's gonna be here
Mm-hmm.
regardless. So how you are in this physical world is your determining factor on how you obey those laws, those natural laws, and those universal principles. So those natural laws of Mother Nature, and then those universal principles in regards to Father Nature. So where are you? Are you in accordance with nature or in accordance with the principles, or are you on the opposite side? And
Right.
if you're on the wrong side of that, you're gonna have to get corrected. So
Yep. I agree
I
with
definitely
that.
looked back into my past today. I did a bit of reflection, and I was like, everything that I said some years ago that I wanted to do, I am doing it now. I just don't think presently that I'm doing it now until some time has passed a little bit further down the line. I look back. That's why I love doing these episodes, because I see so much growth I've had versus the 10 years ago me, or my 20-year-old 20 years ago me. So yeah, I'm liking this transformation I am making.
I'm
And I'm
glad.
trying to
I'm
learn a whole
glad.
new language so I can get all these curses out my mouth. So right here, what we're looking at, it looks somewhat like a thumb, with a eyebrow and an eye on it, and we see some asterisks right there, and it look like some water flowing under there. Why do we always see like two squiggly lines? Why we always think that's water? It could be wind, or it could be a
Oh,
road.
yeah, true. I mean, sideways
Mm-hmm.
versus up and down. One might be water and one might be air.
Mm-hmm.
But these supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be stars, different stars. This is cuneiform. This is what the Sumerians did. How they used to write.
Okay, I see. Yep, it is.
And cuneiform means wedge shaped. At first, like their lettering was just on images. So like the first lines is stars. Then you got the second line, which is like head. It's like somebody's head or whatever. And then do believe the third line was water. And so those were like images. Their symbols would tell you like what is like nouns. But then like as you see they start drawing like lines and stuff like that. I wanna say like 1500 BC or something, they started creating letters and numbers. So they evolved from the symbols to the letters and numbers. And I think I got a picture with the numbers. Well, you got one
I think I cracked the
side.
code on this uniform right now.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I think I
really
cracked the code on. I think I know what the story is.
Well, I was
You already
looking up
cracked the
here
code though, sis?
with the Sumerian letters. Oh, I meant to tell you. So, like, I had one of that aha. I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but I had one of those like aha moments, and I was like, "Yo, what if all of Earth is mold? Like, everybody on this plane over here, as we know it, are Moabites, and we're actually in our like 10 what was it 10 generation separation, and that's why we can't see aliens and shit like that, because we gotta stay by ourselves. And that's why a lot of people out here are a little retarded, because of the
Things are a lot retarded. I can tell from the driving through Atlanta. The retardation state, you know, the mental state of a lot of people with their driving.
But the
Tells me a lot.
part is they don't want to be control. But that was, I came up with that, and I was like, yo, I had to write it down. I was like, yo, I got to tell Danielle that. That was a good one.
Yeah, we definitely gonna brainstorm on that. You know, we can come up with some theories and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah,
the theory book
is
coming soon.
For real. But
I believe now
like, all right, so I don't really see no girl words. Like, they got man, son, and his, but I don't see hers nowhere. That's wild. And I see king and stuff. But son makes sense. Man, and then I see how the king got the crown on top of the man. That's cool. I see that. That's the fourth and fifth one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand that Prince John with the king, but I mean, you know, they had their little.
Let's see. You got a line with man. You got 3 lines with man, and then you got the similar dots with the king. But it's 2 lines with the king and the dots, and then you got something in between the top and the bottom part, in between the dots. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Could be penis. I don't know.
It seemed like as time went on, their lines became more separated, and they started incorporating more dots into their lettering as you go from Sumerians to Assyrians. It's a lot of dot action going on. Were they still using chisel and stone? Is this still the Flintstone area?
Maybe it was code for them, like a secret language for them to know, you know, maybe this, I don't know. Maybe they had to disguise their language.
I gotta get that early Babylonian symbol for power somewhere though. I like that. That's Kurt. I like the Sumerian one too.
Yeah, Sumerian symbols were very different. So we can all see that these were a spinoff from them.
Yeah.
Except for I don't know how they got the man and the king, because it looked like mountains.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, you know, they over territory.
Right.
Maybe, you know, we live in the Caucasus Mountains. We're in the mountainous area. And so as I'm a man, this is my land. And as I'm a king, this is my land with a crown.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's what I got.
That's what it look like. We can take time to analyze it all day long, come up with some explanations for it.
Yeah, but
Lord.
once they started developing like letters and numbers, they were using it mostly for like finance, law, and writing out contracts. I'm like, y'all niggas needed contracts back then? Like, oof, it's wild. Nothing new under the sun, yeah. And this is
Yeah.
the
Well,
alphabet.
think about it. Like sacrifices, you know what I'm saying, will come our contract of some form. Just if you're the sacrifice, the tributes is the I guess the sucky end of the contract.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. I'm all here for law and order. It depends on who's imposing and enforcing it. And this was the one symbol I really wanted to speak extra on. You know, this one burns my soul up. I talk about this one all the time, every chance I get, because they sell this shit all over fucking Family Dollar and Dollar General and Walmart. They're like home decor. I know everybody's seen them gold curtains somewhere and them damn
I never
fucking
buy them.
candelabra
I never
sticks,
buy them.
the curtain rod.
I can say I've never bought none of that because every time I see
Good.
that symbol, my spirit rebukes it.
Yeah, I get angry inside, like, oh, I'll burn this whole building down. Yeah, so this symbol, this is the symbol of the gentrifier. This is the fleur de lis. It's actually a lily, and initially it represented the French hierarchy and the different suits of France. Also in England and Scotland. Again, we're still talking about gentrifiers. Also Albania, and then when the colonizers came to New France and started taking over that area from the indigenous people, they, declared New France with this dumbass symbol. And then also Italy, Lithuania, United Kingdom. And then in the United States, when the colonizers came over here, they set up all those flags all along the Mississippi and the Missouri waters. So, if you're in New Orleans area or like anywhere near the bayou, you'll see this symbol a lot all over the place, especially Mardi Gras, walking around with this symbol. There's nothing, I mean, if somebody can go back further and see something for me, okay, but I didn't see anything further back than the colonists for this symbol. It was never
Yeah.
like, I know Aboriginals like to say, "Oh, we did it first. We taught." Yeah, we can't take credit for this one. Just like we can't take credit for the cross. I know y'all be wanting to own everything. That's what's up. That's your ego speaking. We had nothing to do with this. So please get these shits the fuck out of your house. I hate
You
going to
can't
people's
tell them. You
houses
can't tell
and
them
seeing them
face
fucking
that now.
Family Dollar
Tell them
gray and white curtains. And
and
it's a stupid ass
isn't
symbol.
that the symbol for the
The
Saints?
Saints. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they wear that proudly
Yes.
now. Now I don't go around wearing no symbols unless I got a full understanding of the shit. I can at least say that. And I knew well, I ain't never liked New England. I mean the Louisiana Saints or whatever, New Orleans Saints or whatever. I'm thinking about
Oh
New
yeah,
England.
all the sports teams. It's a symbol in the fucking what do you call it? The Boy Scout symbol. It's in the Pope thing.
Right.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere. They got it all over down there in the French territories
It's a
and
symbol of
even the Italian
subjugation.
territories.
And they letting you
And
know that the gentrification started with us.
They don't lie. They don't
You
right.
guys
lie.
did the Louisiana Purchase and whatever. Then you start throwing all your shit up over there.
Yep.
And
And I
I hate to see us black folks walking around representing that shit,
Cause
just
we
blinded
always
by
want to
it.
take over stuff. Like, oh, I know I can glamorize this, just
We
like we
love
think
us
we can
stuff over
glamorize the
niggas
B word and the N word. Like, nigga, you
and
cannot glamorize nigga and bitch. I'm sorry, you're not going to sit here and glamorize that to me and say it's a term of endearment. Because if somebody looked at me in the eyes and was like, "Oh, bitch," like, bro, that's not cool. I'm not a fan of that. That's not what we're gonna do. Like,
mm-hmm.
like we have a habit of always trying to like make own things. Like, oh, I could wear these chains around my wrists and around my neck, and I'm glamorizing it. It's fly now. It's dope because I made some rap songs about it, and now I put it in pictures and make it look like if you got chains on you, you got money and you got value. Like what? Like that's what we doing.
People respect people with money because it adds value to them in their eyes. Money, well, therefore, money don't even have no value.
Money is the tool that they use
It matter who
to
on the
pin us
money.
against each other. Money is the spell that they use to put us in a place where we no longer feel like we can go outside and hunt for our own food and plant our own vegetables and do for self. Money is the number one reason why we would tell ourselves we can't do for self. But if you keep it 100 with yourself, you can go outside right now and build yourself a house, build yourself a fire, and eat. You could do that, but you
It
telling
matters
yourself
who
you
on the
can't
money.
do that because the spell that money brought to you that said no, you got to have this apartment, you got to have this car, you got to have these clothes on, you got to have this bed, you got to have that mattress and that box spring, you got to have the PSENG bill on and the cable and the Wi-Fi. That's all that spell that told you you had to have that. That's what these motherfuckers came over on their boat. They had all this useless shit. They had fucking jewelry and stones and shit talking about something. Give us your seeds, give us your animals, give us your knowledge, give us your science and your spirituality. We gave them the most valuable shit we had for some fucking rocks and chains. And like, bro, I can't eat this shit. I can't eat
Some
this
shit we
paper.
already motherfucking had. Some shit we already had.
Yeah, like, and now we gotta take the stuff that we gotta take the bullshit they gave us in exchange and try to buy our shit back. And now they telling us no, that shit ain't worth nothing. You gotta work like 80 hours a week to be able to get some of this shit back, but it's not gonna belong to
A
you.
crumb
You just
of
keep
the
paying. Yeah,
right.
this our shit, bro. Like that paper not worth nothing. But yeah, this symbol
You
ain't
know what's
shit.
worth it? What's worth it?
Mm.
Their face. It don't got
Right.
nothing to do with anything else other than their face on the money. Because it's
Oh,
currency.
people
Because
out here dying,
that's
slaying each other
this
out here and shit over their
one
dusty
thing
ass their
you right on
ancestors.
it. You right on it. They're inviting us to death and we're inviting them to life.
Yeah,
Life
Right.
over us.
we need our own
So
monetary concepts.
they're not alive. You see what I'm saying? So now when you're
Mhm.
looking at that money, you're giving that value. That's why they be like, yo, it's dead presidents. This is why they enshrine. That's why they're the saints. Okay? So this is why
Mhm.
they can go to New Orleans and say they're the saints. You see what I'm saying? So this sainthood had everything to do with servitude. So the reason why you could justify putting people into servitude is because you were civilizing the savages. So this sainthood, this is where the sainthood gets stolen because it didn't originally have that context. This is why symbols are everything. So symbology still rules. So if I say that this is God and God is white, and you being closer to God makes you more righteous and pious, how closer can it get than it's in your pocket? So you're going to work for a living.
And we
It's
trust it
killing
too.
you. You're killing
Mhm.
yourself to provide things that you say that's for your family that are killing you to provide
Mhm.
food, clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and shelter. Things that were free, you have to pay for. You're dying to
Yeah.
provide them. You see what I'm saying? So because you have their face on this money, you're giving it life, you're giving it purpose, you're giving it a currency, an electrical charge, life. You're
Current.
exchanging it.
Mm-hmm.
You're accepting it as a medium of exchange. Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
know all of the sigil markings. We broke them all down and we're still using them. You see what I'm saying? We're still using them. Like, if you ever go to a place where black people are on the money, it's a different space. It's a different
Mhm.
space. You in a different space. That's why people be going to the islands all the time. Like, yo, son, out. We going to the islands. You see what I'm saying? But if you bring that mentality with you from here with these dead things on the money, you bring that with you. That's what you leave there in exchange. That's your medium of exchange. This is why you go to places that was peaceful, and now they trying to kidnap you, extort you, rob you, kill you because you brought the mentality
Mm.
with you. You bought it with you. You bought that exchange over there. So now it's inviting something that was natural to death. You see what I'm saying? So now this is why they're trying to vibe the places in the islands and all of these other places.
Yeah.
So where there's no safe space and all of the natural farmland and all of that, because they understand what value is, and if they hold it, they become valuable. They're still not alive. You see what I'm saying? They're still not alive, but as long as we keep that in circulation, we make that alive. We
We
make
keep
it
it in
live. So
circulation because we
these
still
symbols
value.
are real, right?
We
Yeah.
value them people. There's still people
We-
stuck in that state of mind to where that damn dollar and them people on it.
right,
They mean something. We have that connection, like it means so much to us, and they don't know how to
right.
disconnect from it. That's why they allow those people who look like
So
those
in
people.
their spaces, like they were saying,
They came
when
with them
they
people trap and took a trap.
Yeah.
when they wanted
Definitely.
They
to
dusty
keep
ass
the masses in line, they gave them sport and play to amuse themselves. This
up.
is where the Colosseums come from. They're still in Roman Colosseums today playing this
Yeah.
sport. That's why everybody's all hooked into the sports, and this is why they're using the ritual space, and it's a bloodbath because they're shedding blood on
Ooh.
that field and calling it a profession. It's a bunch of stuff they're going to it. You see what I'm
You know
saying?
what?
But these symbols are giving it credence.
We were
So
speaking about a few episodes ago that well, sis came up with the fact. She pointed out the fact that we're still ruled by Rome. And I was doing my research on Fat Tuesday or whatever, because they just had it like last week before last, whatever. So, everybody from around the world, across the country, whatever, they always go to New Orleans, whatever, for this Fat Tuesday shit or whatever. To me, I always thought that Mardi Gras was dusty, okay? I've never experienced Mardi Gras, never been there, but to me, when my spirit tells me, yeah, that shit's dusty over there, don't go there, like, it is, and I gotta trust and believe in my discernment. So, Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, or what have you, okay, that's what it means, Fat and Tuesday. It was a Roman thing, sis. It was a Roman thing. That's why I sent you that video. Not only that, here's some more symbolic shit. Blackface. They have these white people painted with blackface, and they have kinky, coily, afros on. And everybody's gyrating around there, celebrating it and whatever, getting drunk and just acting a damn nut. And these people are just putting this shit playing in your damn face.
And now they got our women walking around with fucking thongs on and their titties hanging out, giving off this like Sarah Bartman energy. And then they try to make it seem like. The thing I don't like is whenever these people have us doing some shallow, dusty shit, our people have a tendency to always try to make it a part of our culture. Like, oh, well, our people have been doing this for such and such amount of years. Okay, that don't make it right. Like, evolve. Like,
that don't make it right. We want some fools too.
Exactly. If you as a human being want to evolve from who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, what makes you think that your culture should not evolve from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Your culture, your people, your community should be learning better to do better. If you can sit here and say, oh, my parents were ignorant about this and my grandparents were ignorant about that and my great-grandparents are ignorant about this, then how can you sit in here and hold on to a culture practice that is demeaning? It's not what you think it is. It's celebrating a culture that, like, your native culture is telling you this is, evil, and this is not the energy you're trying to invoke because of how powerful you are. Like, we are very powerful beings, and this is why they put so much energy towards directing our energy, because our energy collectively makes some really crazy shit happen. So if I make sure around the time when I know your kundalinis are rising around springtime, after that, snow moon, the next full moon thereafter, when the soil is breaking through, I know my enemy, I know your kundalini is rising, so I'm gonna make sure catastrophic shit happens every year around that time, and I'm gonna have all of y'all on the same energy. So as your kundalini is rising, it's rising in anger, fear. Y'all want to go outside and start marching. Y'all want to start tearing up stores again. Y'all want to start arguing on the internet again. Y'all want, like, it's really a lot of energy going towards directing our energy to do stuff like that, because they feed off of that. Now here they come with their marketing tactics. Now here they come with their politics. Now here they come with the other stuff that they really trying to get going on. And now they have your emotional invocation to allow it, you know? It's the same pattern over and over again, and it gets really tiring to see how our people keep falling for the okey doke with that excuse. Like, if you know your ancestors were ignorant to certain things, why would you sit here and hold on to the traditions that express their ignorance?
Because other people's traditions that express their ignorance is more valuable than knowing the truth.
They really just want to engage in dusty shit. These women want to be out there with their titties and their ass out all fucking drunk and acting a fool, and they get mad when they attract a bunch of bad energy and bad spirits. And then, we have this whole, oh, you can't victim blame, No, you can't victim blame. But let's be aware of our energy. You're an electromagnetic being. What energy are you putting out? So what energy are you going to attract? Let's think about it from that point of view. That comes back to the thing where, like, people pick and choose when they want to know the truth, when they want to apply the truth, and then they want to act like they don't know what the fuck's going on when they want to engage in that low vibrational activity. Then all of a sudden it's, oh, this is culture, this is our traditions, these are our ancestors, or, oh, you can't victim blame, or, oh, da da da, I should be able to do what I want. Okay, do what you want. But you just sat there and quoted, Buddha about karma and the cycle of energy and stuff like that. So go ahead, do what you want. And don't come around here complaining about the backlash of you doing what it is you want. And also ask yourself, why is that even what you want? Why is that what you want to do? Why is that what you're choosing to do with your time? That's the better question. Why are you fighting to keep on? Like, what's going on?
I find it amazing that people work damn near whatever time of the year, ample amount enough time of the year to save up to even damn spend them dusty dollars and that slave that slave shit. They've been slaving to save up them dusty ass dollars to go take this damn trip to go down.
Right, to go down there and be drunk and dusty.
And to have blackface all in your face and your gentrifiers putting the symbolism, throwing the symbolism all around. You got them throwing it up too, celebrating with their ass.
You look like some people walking around with this shit tattooed on them. This is what they used to brand us with. Right. This is, if you were a runaway slave, this is what was branded on your body. This is what you were cattle. This symbol is on see how you got the shield underneath the crown? Well, a lot of the landowners, the white man landowners, they had shields for their home. Same way like the Moorish Empire tell you, create your shield or whatever. This is what they had. They had a shield. And they always had these symbols on their shield. You could have had this
about iron gates and shit, sis.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You would have that shield branded on your body because they would make stamps out of it, just so everybody know what plantation you belong on. And this is the shit that y'all want around y'all house. This is what y'all putting on y'all bodies for Mardi Gras, and it's all on your flags. You got these people running back and forth on a field chasing a football with this all on their helmets, on their jerseys and stuff like that. And that's okay because it's a part of the circus.
Mm-hmm.
But on another note, we can get to the more spiritual realm of the symbols. I can't stand that cross. Y'all know I can't stand that cross.
I don't even like Latin.
It looks like it's lacking seasoning.
Where is Latin? Yeah, where is Latin? I always wonder, like, where is Latin? But it's,
That
from,
sounds like some
moment.
meaningful Destiny self-proclaimed shit too.
Yeah.
And
It's
if
some
you
real
listen to the
shit.
language, it does sound like some crazy ass Harry Potter shit. Like my son wanted to learn Latin, so we have been learning Latin together. And yeah, I be feeling like I'm speaking spells all day long. But it's kind of cool though, Slytherin, parcel tongue.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the languages, like, when you look at it, you be like, how in the hell am I going to begin to try to pronounce and even enunciate
Made
the
up a bunch
syllables?
of shit.
It's your slang. It's your slang. It's the same way you listen to somebody talk. You like, where you from? It's your slang. So I mean, it has a resonance with your people. If you wanted to be slick, you would say something in Latin. You see what I'm saying? Just like you say something in English, you'd be like, oh, it means this, or this. So the thing about it with the languages is you don't translate your language. So if you come up with something and that's your terminology, don't explain it to nobody. They're not about to explain nothing to you. Nothing from none of these coaches, none of these people, from none of these nations. They are duty bound not to tell you anything. Okay, this is why they selling languages to you, so you can learn the language, and you're gonna have to pay for it. And they're not gonna talk to you like you're learning those languages because it's encoded. Okay, it's their mother tongue. They're not going to speak to you and tell you what they're about to do to you in their language. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what they figured out with the physicians is, okay, we could write this in Latin, and this means kill them.
Mhm.
So this what happened. When those folks who were speaking Latin was running around conquering and killing people. So when they write you a prescription, it means your death. It used to mean your life. It used to
Right.
be a prescription used to be something, and it still is something based upon your tradition and your connection. When you got a prescription, it was to save your life. Now they're giving you prescriptions to cause your
Mm-hmm.
death, your demise, to make you infertile, to make you sterile. They're giving you a prescription. So you went to the doctor, you went to the nurse, you went to whomever, and they gave you a prescription. They gave you a death sentence. This is what they gave you. You see what I'm saying? So now
Mm-hmm.
that's what that would mean. And that's what that means. If these cats showed up speaking Latin, your ass was out of there.
Oh, and
So
you know what?
if
On your prescription too, they write it's a lot of symbols on your prescription and shit too. You know what I'm saying? You know how they say like a doctor's
Oh
handwriting or whatever.
yeah.
But it's a
Medicine and law is still very much in Latin.
yeah,
Medicine
it's
and law, they
Latin.
still.
Yeah.
right,
Yes. Right. The both places where they give you the death sentence, the hospital and the courtroom. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
right.
They ain't playing no games with you. It's right there hitting
Mhm.
in plain sight. So you should never be translating your language in a way for people to understand it. This is why they got artificial intelligence listening to everything that we say, because it's learning our language and learning how to communicate with us. So,
Mhm.
Right.
what's the
Learning
end
how we
game with
speak.
that?
My damn phone's so
Right.
damn dumb, boy. I can't stand speak texting to this shit. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna try to. I'm not gonna try to teach it how to understand me because, all right, whatever. If you don't get it, then I'm just gonna type it in.
Right,
It is
yeah,
what it
because they're
is.
trying to learn their accent
Right.
and stuff because they'll start to
Right,
imitate
Right.
and
it.
they
Just
actually
like these
paying people
cartoon
to
boys.
come in and speak, like your native tongue and from certain regions or whatever. Because people in Atlanta
Mhm.
don't talk like people in Columbus. Their lingo is different.
Right.
Okay.
They
So if
sound
you ain't
southern or whatever. They sound like this. You can still tell they're from Georgia, but
right.
there's a difference between the two.
Did y'all see
From
that
Texas.
movie Megan? That one that just came out recently?
See
No, I
which
didn't see
movie?
it yet. Megan.
Megan?
No, I have not seen it, but they want you to pay for it, and I'm like, I'm not about to pay for that. Ho, you forget about that.
I've been going on websites to find movies if I want to watch a movie. I'm not going to the movie theater. I fall asleep.
Oh,
Like it ain't even about the money, bro. I'm wasting my money every time. I'm going to sleep.
Mm.
It could be good
That,
and I'm going to sleep. It's just
and
like the
like
that's
perfect.
That ain't no place to fall asleep.
It's not a place for me to go. I'm going to sleep. It's cold, it's dark.
Right.
Like I hate how cold it is. I'm not and if I am
I ain't
awake,
gonna
I'm
hold
not
you.
having a good time because of how cold it is. I always have an attitude. It's like no matter how much you wear, it's something about the kind of cold that's in there. It's like, what the fuck? I got on a coat and I'm still
Oh, in
cold.
the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
You,
I don't know
nah,
why
I'm
they want
good.
it so cold in there.
you
I
eating
bought a
salt
project. I
and
have a
butter.
Coldness
projector.
puts people to sleep. It's like in the hospital, jail, all that.
Yeah, it's like I'm
Right.
in there to
After
eat
School,
and go to
yeah,
sleep.
all these.
I'm not
yeah,
in here to watch
you
anything.
spend $50 to get up in that joint. You still say, we got tribes. We got the whole tribe of Shabazz up in there.
You know,
Yeah.
I was kind
and
of happy when
everybody
they was
going,
serving liquor in there. You know what I'm saying? Like the liquor keep me, it keep me warm. The brandy keep me warm.
Oh yeah, when I was
But
younger and I used to move like that, yeah. But now today, yeah, I'm going to sleep.
yeah, I
Mm-mm.
think I just like to go to get some popcorn, some movie theater popcorn. I ain't gonna hold you. I just like to get some popcorn though.
yeah,
But I've been
I'm
falling
a
asleep
see the
on.
movie.
nachos and pretzel stick kind of girl. I like to dip the shit in cheese.
Oh,
Wherever
you
you
like
can see
movie,
the
not
movie
on
at, you can
pretzel
just
sticks. Yeah, I like them.
you
I'm
can check
traditional.
it
I like
out.
the popcorn.
One of them streaming services or for free, whatever it is, you can check it out because you can see this next phase of transhumanism that's
Yeah.
illustrated through the symbology. Like they're
Oh,
after
I'm definitely gonna go
our
check it out
children
on
and they're using
my little special streaming service.
yeah.
Oh
hmm
yeah,
It's
because
out
I
they
there.
plan on
definitely been
viewing
building
it because I was
phones
like,
and
what is
shit.
that?
Like they be talking about it in Hollywood.
Right. Right.
Yep.
hmm
And the place where they warn their inhabitants, those things, is through the
Mhm.
movies. Because they have a duty and responsibility to warn their things. I don't call them people.
They
Y'all can
be
call
giving
them
us some
people
artificial
and
intelligence
and give
movies
them
for a minute,
right,
especially on Amazon. And then they got this joint on Netflix. What's it called? Like Human Like Us or Perfect Like Me or some shit like that.
right.
Where the robot is like she's supposed to be like fucking beautiful, and to the where like people fall in love with her and all this shit. Like yeah, it's weird out here. It's weird. Like we're
Wow, we
constantly
only
like
fall in love with people over their looks. I mean, I'm
that's
a
like
bit,
yeah. But
but
that's
you know,
coming from
not that bad.
right.
It got to
And it's
have
like who's telling
more
us
than
what's
just looks. You
beautiful?
know what I'm saying? Like looks is the first thing that you see on a person. I get that. That's like level one. Okay.
Hmm.
Then when they open up their mouth
Hmm.
and speaking or whatever, that's level 2 and 3 to me. Like, yeah, I start preying at you. Like,
Yeah.
depending on what you saying out your mouth.
Right, right. That somebody can get ugly real quick and somebody can get real cute. Like it really depends on
Right.
where your mood stuff is. And with the AI shit they keep showing us all the time, me and you talked about that already. Like the aliens is the plastic surgeons, and they intentionally making everybody in Hollywood look the same, so that when you get
Yeah.
plastic surgery, you all look the same and you look like the
They all
alien,
got the
look
same
like the
body type.
robots
They
they
all
already
know
made.
you got to identify them. The one with the natural body is the one goddamn got to go. The natural body's got to go because that's the real people. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna be able to tell
Yeah.
the real from the fake.
And I noticed a lot of them
Mm.
Hollywood babies look alike too. And that's also, that might also be something because, they keep trying to give off that ideal that after a certain year, there'll be no more dark skinned men. I don't know what it is with this energy about dark skinned people, but they try to give off that energy. So what they do is they feed it to us through screens. But a lot of the shit that we see on these screens is not real. I'll be trying to scream it from the rooftop like, yo, this shit is not real. A lot of this shit is made up. They can make stuff. I remember the Blair Witch Project came out. I was like in middle school, and that
Yeah.
was the first movie they made to look like it was on a camcorder, and it really looked like it was on a camcorder. That's what they were
Yo,
doing
I ain't
back
gonna hold you.
then.
I thought that shit
You
was
don't
real.
think
I
they can
thought he
make
was
something
out
look
there
like
with that
some?
bitch.
I thought it was real too, yeah. But do you think at this point in time in 2023 they can't make something look like it's somebody recording it from their phone? Like you can't, make something look like it's an old video, different stuff like that. Like a lot of this stuff we see on the screen is so fake. Like we are really being socially engineered.
Oh my God, sis. The crazy thing is that when you're these people forget that it's somebody else recording and holding a phone. They forget about the cameraman. You know what I'm saying? They forget about the cameraman. Like you looking at an actual movie, but on social media, like how you gonna forget like some real live shit going on or whatever? But you forget that somebody is actually holding and controlling this phone with a bad recording having ass.
Yep. And they really got people
and their
cooking
editing
between
software.
men.
And the editing software, the editing software,
Yeah.
so many
It's
other
there. It's right
aspects.
there on your phone. You could do it on. This is the reason
Yeah.
why they push in, iPhones and stuff like that, because they're making it for you. You can make a whole movie on your phone. You can shoot an entire movie, a music video. You can record yourself. Rhyming, whatever you want to do. All of that from your phone. You don't need any of this other equipment because you pay for it all in that phone. It's all there.
They
You see what
make
I'm
it
saying?
everything
So,
to where you don't have to detach yourself from these phones, from these devices. They want to put your books on here. They want to put your even your craving, whatever stuff on here to stimulate your mind or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that you used to do, your hobbies and stuff, they want it
In
all in here.
nature shit.
You want to
Coming back
build a
to that
house? You want to
choosing
build
man
houses?
in
Put it all
nature.
here. Yeah.
Like how? Like I'm supposed to be detoxing from you, but I'm also using you to detox. Like that's odd. And then it's a lot of the engineering to say like, okay, in a certain amount of time, everybody's gonna look like this, so that when they do make their robots and stuff like that, it's gonna look like that. And you see how they got the software now, where like if you're talking on the screen, they can make your lips move to say like before. Okay, I remember before on TikTok when you first started, when you did the lip singing on people's voices, if your lip didn't match, they just didn't match. But
Right.
now if your lips are similar or you're even trying, you see the technology that's trying to move your lips to align with the words. Even like I
Right.
noticed, when I used to say people's dancing videos, when I take people's dancing videos and I put them to my song, now all of a sudden the speed of their dancing changes. Like, AI is starting to like really perfect the images they create to make people believe certain things are happening and it's not happening. And then I really fear that people are gonna forget all about Project Bluebeam. When we was telling people they're gonna start making it look like shit happening in the sky, and lo and behold, what's happening? They making it look like there's shit happening in the sky, and people really falling for it. And they like, oh my god, what's this? What's that? What's that? And I'm like, yo, we already knew about this shit. We talked about this shit like over 10 years ago and nobody believed us, and now they doing it, and it's to the point where people done like mentally forgot and they're not thinking about it no more. And
Y'all
it's
want
like
watching
scary
Virgo
because
Virgin
so many
talk?
people
Y'all
falling for
playing. We spoke about
it.
this, y'all. It's
We
me in the future.
did.
Like we spoke about this on Virgo Virgin Talk. I don't know why y'all so confused. We talked about this on Virgo
Yeah,
Virgin Talk so many times.
we really did. Like they out here lying, and they really trying to social engineer us and tell us what to think and how to be with like all their symbols, and then demonizing our symbols and the stuff that we got, or watering our shit down. Like the
That's
kente
what they
cloth is
have
another
done.
something. Yes, they shame us when we try to keep it to ourselves. But when we don't keep it to ourselves, when they put their symbolism and their spin on it, it brings that same energy. Like knowledge was saying, with the presidents on their money, it's bringing all that karmic energy onto our symbols and on our stuff, and it's strengthening that. Like our kente cloth is a big one. Now, we happy when we see interracial couples getting married, and the person from another culture is wearing kente cloth. Like, oh my God, they're so respectful of the culture. That's so cute. I love that they celebrate the culture. But like, no, that's not cool. Because like our stuff has symbolism, our stuff had meaning to it. And what y'all don't know is kente cloth is also a form of divination. Like they used to be in meditation making these cloths. These cloths would give them stories, they would give them downloads,
Right.
different reading. You could go to somebody and say, hey, I got a question or whatever, and they will go and make you a kente cloth, and it'll tell you the story or whatever. It was like tarot, like a tarot reading in your gown, in your dress about you. But they watered our shit down. Now anybody could wear our kente cloth, and if we say no, we're the issue, then nobody knows the symbolism or the stories behind the kente cloth anymore. Now it's just a form of dress and style, and it's to the point
Right.
now where people just be wearing anything. You don't even realize all of these shapes have symbols on them. So you outside walking around with a head wrap on or a dress or a skirt on or something that means like, despair or mourning or something, like you don't even know what kente cloth you wearing. You just see it and you
Mhm.
like it and say, "Oh,
And be
that's a
like,
nice
oh, I
print.
like
That's
that
a nice
pattern. That's
color."
cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not even thinking about
I
it.
mean, imagine
So
how many people walk around with like even the indigenous over here, you know what I'm saying? Like the people over in the like the Midwest and that area or whatever, where a lot of the designs and patterns are heavily influenced or whatever, and people rock them.
Mhm.
Even the Cajuns or whatever. So Caucasians, I said the Cajuns, the Caucasians or what have you, and they don't even know the meaning of
Great, thank you.
those all those patterns. They told stories as well.
Mhm.
They tell stories as well, like the quilts and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Remember when people's grandmother used to make them a quilt,
Yep.
and have her own story. Every quilt had a story on it. I don't even see that anymore. But now you got you would swear only white people do that shit though right now. Like they've
Right,
adopted a whole
because
lot of our shit or stolen a whole lot
my
of our
mom
shit.
was
And you think that we have
adopted.
no association with
Right,
it.
because my mother was
Mm-hmm.
adopted by a white woman, and that's the only person that I know that had those kind of blankets,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I made one. I made a bunch when my son was born. I started making my
Mm-hmm.
own blankets, like because I remember, that was the grandmom that did that. We had different blankets with the symbols on it and the quilts. you know, in each tile of the
Yeah.
quilt was,
Mhm.
something symbolic and stuff like that. So I do that for my sons now. But yeah, she was the only one. Like nobody on my other side of the family and stuff like that, you know, did that I'm aware of. But yeah, that's our shit. That's how we used to tell our stories. That's what we used to put in our windows to talk about our tribes, where we're from, what we represent, what our household is going through at the moment, if there was a baby on the way, if we were mourning, if anything,
Mhm.
come check. There was an elder in this house, come check in this house or whatever. So, it's important for us to really like go back to learning about self and learning about our culture. We spend a lot of time learning about, this other culture that has been force fed to us ever since these people came on our land. Like, we really don't know anything about our own culture. We really only know theirs to the point where, like, we think we dead. We think that they came over here and killed all of us. And we looking at each other, really believing that we're not here. And that's because they really
Yo,
convinced us
I
on these
swear.
screens.
I
They
was
got
like,
these little
yo, where
$5
all the
Indians
Indians
on
at? I'm like, they came
screen.
over here, they did all this to them daggone Indians. Where are all the Indians? Where are they all at?
That's why
Like,
you
how is
don't
it
see
that
a
it was
lot of
so
those $5
populated over here that
Indians.
you have no
And you're
idea?
not going to. You're
Right.
not going to see a lot of those $5 Indians. They are going to be scarce because they made them. That was intentional.
Yeah. Yeah.
For what, like it's like 200, 300 of them maybe, and they trying to convince you, and it's millions of us, but they came over here and killed us, and now it's only
Mm-hmm.
300, like 400. Like, we're not falling for that,
Everybody
and
was bought
that's
over here
what
on the boat. Everybody was bought over here on the boat, and we just highly populated. Like, and they love to keep the spell that we're a minority. We are not a minority. I've
we're
said this
not
shit
a
20 years ago.
minority. It's
How are
more
we a minority?
over here than it is of their Native Americans, but that's not
Right.
our land.
Right.
And that boat trip from one place to another, that wasn't no easy boat trip. There was different little gateways and portals. And remember when we did the history of the maps, all the little monsters in the water and shit like that? Like, bro, niggas was not
Mm-hmm.
crossing the water with so many people to where now it's more of us than the Native Americans. Like, come on now, that
Right.
don't even make sense. But they'll convince us on these screens. They'll convince us these textbooks. They took our wishes out of our villages. They dragged our chiefs out in the villages and killed them, and then they left the rest of us ignorant. And now it's like if we had it's what we weren't allowed to start wearing our natural hair in the business place or in schools until what, a couple of years ago. We just
2019.
now started getting that recognition.
2019.
We weren't allowed to wear, we're still not allowed to wear our cultural clothes in places too much. We kind of shun on that still. We're still afraid to call ourselves indigenous. Still some people out here like, oh, I can't call myself native. I gotta be African. Like, yeah, you will say you're African, but you're not African as Africa as we know it. That's
You don't
not
even gotta
what
check
that is
that
for you.
off. You don't even have to put that on your checklist or whatever. You don't even look on your birth certificates or what have you, on that document. It doesn't even have your race on there. Doesn't. It's only when you go to the damn DMV or the MVV or the MDV and you tell them what your race is, then it gets onto your identification card. Other than that, Social Security don't acknowledge that unless you tell them what that is, what you are. You could put that you're a Pacific Islander, whoever, a Native American, Alaskan Eskimo, or whoever, and shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of putting Black or African American.
Races, they made a concept. It's like to put in more division. And that was another reason why I was like, this is probably all one piece of land and we all Mobites, because it's just so much energy going towards even just dividing us by race when it's like it's not different races. But that's another one for another day. Here goes some sigils. I like these sigils. I actually got some jewelry for the symbols that you see in the tin. I got those engraved in some different wood pieces that I got, and with some crystals, and that's fun. Hey.
Okay, Kaka.
Get up. Scooby, move.
Dai. Jaja. Ard. Faba. Knawa. And Ganasha.
Yeah, different sigils of healing. And this just going to show you how strong and how powerful symbols are as well, because in our culture, these symbols would be drawn on you for like invoking certain energies, healing certain energies that you needed to be healed. It would be written on that part of, like, a part of your body where it needs to be written in. Sometimes it would be in like that henna type of herb, or like a herb of the light, or whatever herb you needed to heal you with. It would be written. You see some videos where they put their finger in the stuff and then they do this and they put a poultice on top,
right?
Different stuff like that. Those was the sigils to bring healing. So that just goes to show you how important it is to know your lettering. Also pay attention. Like, there's a lot of different curves and lines, kind of like on these different letters, especially the ones in the black and white, all the different like swirls and stuff like that. Just paying attention to like, how your hand would move, your hand strokes to make these lines, versus in alignment and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's why they want you typing and not writing.
Yes. They're taking away the art of writing. These kids don't want to write no more. They don't even know cursive.
So even when they're drawing, you're drawing on the program. Cursive. They got the pens and all of that. AI is learning how you write for these sigil markings. So this is that.
Yeah, language. It was the Apple IV that they came out with, right? That first had the little stylus with it, and you write it in, and then they'll have the word there ready for you. Like,
yeah, they had those PDAs before. The PDAs came with the stylus. But if you remember, the sketch and all those other things, like we always had these kind of. It was close to it, so they learn over the years, because these things are not human. These things they learn and they study and they get upgrades over time. So as long as we continue to put the stuff out there, they're there to learn it. They're there to learn it, and it don't matter how long it takes and how many of them that they have to sacrifice in order to learn it. But once they figure it out, they coming back to the root and the source. Like I saw something, the folks thought they was fooling Walmart with the self-checkout, and they was, scanning and stealing.
Yeah.
They got something that just track it, and once it gets to a certain number, they just come to your house and lock you up.
Oh, wow. Right. We was talking about that last night when I went to
a couple thousand. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we
That's
was
my
talking
fault.
about that like
Yeah,
last night
so
in the
they,
shooting
they
range.
they literally just wait for stuff like that. So anytime they want to come lock you up, they can just come lock you up. Like, all right, that's 5,000. All right, come lock them up. You see what I'm saying? Like, so this is
Right.
the way that this machine works. So it's a machine. So we're dealing with the machine. So for the folks who still got the Bible and say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, what were our ancestors saying about these things? Don't fight them like you would fight a human, like you would fight each other. This is something else. We wrestle not, or we war not against flesh and blood. These things aren't human. Don't approach them like we try to approach them like they was human. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to go to something else. You got to deal with it like you deal with a beast, like you deal with a vermin. You can't deal with it in the same way where you got some kind of respect for nature. It has no respect for nature. It has no respect for the natural order. It has no respect for a universal principle. So you want to approach it and give it life. You see it life. You see what I'm saying? The benefit of war and seeing war up close is everybody gonna roll with their family. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you might see a little boy running around in the neighborhood. You like the little snotty nosed boy. That little snotty nosed boy would have killed you in Somalia, would have killed you in Vietnam, would have killed you in Iraq, would have killed you in Afghanistan as a ploy. You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta understand outside of the space that we operate in, that the conventional methodology, quote unquote, for war is not the same. So all of these things that we dealing with deal with the covert war versus the overt war. So no matter what I said, people still gonna go to Chevron. They're gonna go to Exxon. They're gonna go to Shell. You see what I'm saying? Knowing what they know and go right in the joint and fill up their gas tank. You see what I'm saying? And then however much they say it costs, that's how much they're gonna pay. So they ran them simulations and them tests like, oh, we can say gas is blah blah blah, and they're gonna pay it. Yeah, they're gonna pay it. Oh, they smoke cigarettes. Oh, they say cigarettes cost this much. They're gonna pay it. You see what I'm saying? Like literally,
they
and
still
that's
won't
what I
pay.
be saying. Like, why
They gonna
we don't
complain, but they
be,
still won't
why
pay.
we playing that inflation game with them? Like, we know money
Right.
don't exist. There's some
Right.
self-proclaimed shit. So when they start playing that whole inflation game, like, where is what happened to the energy of the people? Like, I made a joke. I was talking to my girlfriend, a few days ago, and I had made a joke, but I really meant that shit. Like, when I was in PTO, I was in PTO in the hood, and I didn't really care for that because, ain't nobody really show up. When nobody really showed up, nobody won't be bothered. But when I went to the more gentrified area and I was in the PTO with the kids or whatever, like them Karens, they don't play about their kids shit, bro. Like, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna talk my shit. You're not about to sit here and increase nothing and the fundraiser this and this doing that. Like they when they wanted something done, they were going to talk their shit till it got done. They didn't give a fuck. They had that entitlement energy and that was useful. And I'm just like, that was the energy, in their history story, like Boston Tea Party type energy, like, that's the energy that ran up in the Capitol building type of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
And they got
energy
their
that we
whole
should
village to back
have.
this shit up, too.
Come over here talking shit. Well, yeah,
They know
we
they
gotta
got
destroy
their
shit.
village
We
to
gotta
back
fuck
it
shit up
up.
too. Definitely gotta fuck shit up too. But that's definitely the
we
energy we
damn
should
think about
have.
going to jail. But that's what they like to scare us with. That we go to jail or whatever, or they gonna shoot our ass.
Yeah, they do. They
ain't gonna shoot
because
it's amazing
about
how
that
we
because they
could.
don't threaten to shoot their own people. But that's when our protection got to come in, us knowing that, and that's where the unity comes in at, because it's not a color thing. That's when you team up with the Karens and the fucking rednecks and shit. Like I love a redneck. I don't give a fuck about racist shit. Like I'm racist. I know I'm racist. I see the construct of race. I make racist jokes. And honestly, I'm not even really racist. I'm more tribal because everybody that's my skin color, fuck with everybody that's my skin color. Some of them, Harriet Tubman would have and probably should have shot at. And that's where I'm at with certain things like that. I'm tribal. Not every tribe got along before we were kind of colonized or whatever, and I'm aware of that. So like, to be around somebody else that believes the same thing, like I believe in preserving my culture and my people and my language and my beliefs and my land or whatever. The historical conflicts, be that what they will, but like, I respect that, because that's a reflection of me. I do want to preserve my culture. I want to preserve my land. I want to preserve my lineage and my people and, my genetics and stuff like that. So how can I get mad at someone from another culture feeling the same way about themselves? What I can't get with is hate crime. I can't get with integration. I don't want to integrate with you. But if we gotta put our, differences aside and come together and join arms because we have a common enemy, then that's what the fuck need to happen. That's what the Moors did. They didn't have no problem going to the Visigoths and being like, "Oh, I'll help you do X, Y, Z," and then turned around and took over Spain. They wasn't like, "Ooh, those white people over there." No, they played chess. You like, it's like, no, fuck that. This is a piece on the board. We finna move it. And that's how they had an empire for over 700 years. That's how the fuck you move. And we lost that art because we're being socially engineered. You're not seeing the big picture. Mm-hmm. You're not thinking about Billy Bob's shotgun and the fact that they all believe in the Second Amendment and they got that attitude. And who gonna shoot at them? We got the knowledge. They got the action. They got the entitlement.
Right.
Like, when you hold hands and you put them pieces, they all, do what they gonna do. And then if you want to come back to the differences after that, like, all right, motherfucker, we won the war, now let's, hash our beef out, then do that, because that's also what the Moors did. They helped the Visigoths. They was like, all right, we're gonna, go against the Aryans, we're gonna do X, Y, Z, whatever. And then after that was done, was like, all right, motherfucker, now Spain is mine. Now we finna hash out our shit. And that's how you play. Right. That's how you play the fucking game. But we lost the art. And meanwhile, we sitting here watching the motherfuckers do the same thing over and over and over and over again. They're not smart. We're giving them too much credit. Oh, they're conniving. They're manipulative. They're doing You're giving them too much credit. They're not that smart. They literally copy off of us as much as they could. You know how the hand is feeding you because you're hungry and then you bite the fingers off too soon? They bit the fingers off too soon. Y'all don't even got all the knowledge. Y'all bit our fingers off too soon. Y'all didn't even get all the food yet. So y'all still walking around hungry. So you're giving them too much credit to think they really got our full, all of our books and all of our knowledge. No, the fuck they don't. They don't even know what the EQ is. They still can't master neuroscience. They can't even turn a motherfucking common code yet. They don't know shit, bro. These niggas is dumb. We giving them too much credit. And I don't understand why we don't have the mentality to be like, oh, y'all want to play this dumbass inflation game? Fine, we're boycotting your products. Oh, you don't want to be, the Dollar Tree no more?
Because people are so dependent on that
Dollar Tree again. Like, we don't do
people
that.
Don't want to go out there and plant, sis. People don't want to go out there and they don't want to garden. They don't want to forage. They don't want to do that shit. They think the supermarket is the only way. And if it ain't,
call themselves kings and queens and gods. You got to make it make sense. You're gonna be a human. You're gonna be a consumer, a citizen, or you're gonna be a god. You're gonna be a national.
They don't want to go play in the dirt. That's what you said.
Yeah,
they don't want to play in the damn dirt. No, they look. They see a fly land on a damn piece of fruit. They think the fruit is bad. I'm like, where do you think the fruit grows? Oh yeah.
If a fly don't want it, I don't want it. Honestly, if a fly don't
want it, like the fuck. So you only want the chopped up refrigerated watermelon, okay, which don't have any nutrients in it because you're not supposed to have watermelon cool. It's supposed to stay at room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Once you cut it, and then once you put it in the refrigerator, the nutrients from the watermelon is gone. When do we put all in the refrigerator? I buy a whole watermelon.
You're not supposed to be doing all the refrigerator, the microwave, the oven, all of that shit. You're supposed to have a garden.
Hold up.
It's always a child to challenge me. It's always a child to challenge me because I believe the last time I brought some watermelon, Hold on. I remember the last time I brought some watermelon. I chopped that watermelon in half, and everybody, mammy, up in here ate some watermelon.
I eat it. That just goes to show like our whole kitchen is wrong. All that storage and reheating food, that shit is wrong. When you go to your kitchen should be a garden.
Right.
You should be picking stuff up off the tree because it's in season
Right.
and it's been in the sun, which is room temperature. It's at its optimum health because it's outside in the outdoor temperature. And you're getting in this right. Anything outside of that, the nutrients have already depleted. And at this point, sometimes you're even getting poisons and carcinogens because they done sprayed it, cleansed it, washed it, and did a whole bunch of shit to it to make it sit on the shelves longer before you even pick it up and put it in your refrigerator. You got all that stuff going on.
Tastes the same when it come out the refrigerator. That watermelon that you buy that's cut up in plastic and you put it in the refrigerator, doesn't taste the same.
It don't.
Or does it start tasting like? Or does it start tasting like vinegar?
Yeah, it really don't taste the same.
Or does it start tasting like vinegar?
It tastes like nothing.
It start tasting like the refrigerator.
Now, when it starts tasting like vinegar, it's starting to get old now.
Yeah, start tasting like wine and shit.
We place things in the
refrigerator. It don't got seeds in it. Right, it don't got seeds in it. So.
Yeah. I can't stand food with no seeds. I cannot stand it.
They did all that, but we should have enough. Bananas are natural. We should have enough empowerment of self to be like, okay, y'all acting like that. That's how y'all charging us or whatever. Okay, so we're no longer investing in your business. And feel empowered that we're not investing in your business until you do right. And it's not just the grocery stores. Is for a little bit we was on the wave with the clothing store. Fell off of that tremendously. That was like a 1 week thing, but keep going on with that and stuff like that. Like this stuff, and I know I get it. It's like these companies don't really need us because they have people of higher financial status that support them. That's fine. Let that be their culture. It doesn't have to keep being our culture. That means that their stores shouldn't still be being built in our towns. Like for people that live in major cities, like out here in Jersey, you got like Philly, you got Newark, you got Patterson, Jersey City, Hoboken, and stuff like that. Them neighborhoods, you gotta go to your council people. You gotta go to your mayor. You gotta go to these people and be like, listen, y'all keep having these stores in here. These stores are not ethical. They're not morale. That we don't want these stores in our town. Like, don't build these in our town. You do the petitions, you make the moves, you physically put yourself in those spaces where exercise your rights. Nobody want to do that no more. They just want to sit there and text emojis on the internet and beg.
Even the emoji is a convenience. Even though emoji is a convenience. Emoji is for to replace you even typing out a complete thought. You know what I'm saying? Like you're replacing damn, I'm feeling messed up today. Where people just gonna put the emoji there instead of saying that and then adding the emoji as supposed to be represent your expression. But yeah, people just want convenience. They don't want to go. They don't want to go out there. They don't want to play in the dirt. They don't want to dig. They don't want to. Taking care of a plant requires a lot of dedication as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like taking care of a child. And people don't want to go out and
you see how they feel about
their stuff, store it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have to gain knowledge about the certain fruit or vegetable that you're growing. I was growing a whole mango tree indoor. I was growing a whole mango seed just to see if I could just start to grow a mango tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love mangoes. So I'm like, let me grow my own shit. Because they're not going to remove the seed from that. Because who really thinking about growing mangoes trees? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's keep the pit in that. Let's take the seeds out the bananas. Let's take the seeds from the strawberry. Let's take the seeds from the oranges, the grapes, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't replant them. So you can't replant them and grow them for your own, because then they won't need our convenience stores. They won't need our grocery stores. Just imagine everybody become planters again. Like shit will be out of business.
Yeah, you see what they're doing with the farmland and who owns the farmland.
Oh,
they got a bunch of farmland under the guise of that. Yeah.
Somebody just told me the other day, one of my Facebook friends, he told me the other day, like, he was like, did you hear about the black couple that owned over 200 acres of farmland or whatever? They sold it. I'm like, sold it for how much? Like 13 mil. I'm like, they got played. Like, how? Why would you even sell your land? Like, if you don't got anything else, at least have you some land.
What made them sell their land? What made them sell their land? They didn't. That's like a settlement. Like you going through proceedings and you're like, oh, I got a lawsuit, blah blah blah, pending. Okay, how long you gonna be able to fight that lawsuit? So it's like, okay, it's.
I'm wondering if it's the same couple who were being harassed like a few weeks ago or whatever, or a few months ago about being out there. The only like black owners out there. I think they were in Colorado or somewhere. And they own a farm and a ranch or what have you, and they were being harassed, and they locked up the husband for calling the police out there and calling the sheriffs out there so many times because these racist ass people kept coming on their property, they poison their dogs, just doing all kind of shit. So I'm wondering if it was that same couple that sold their land. I hate to think that it was them that did it.
Well, it's a bunch of instances that are about that. It's a bunch of instances. It's just when it gets reported and how it gets reported and how long it stays in rotation. So whether it was Colorado, whether it was Texas, it's a bunch of places. In North Carolina, there's cases as well. They just didn't get publicized.
So there's a lot of stuff that don't get publicized like that.
Yeah. They use those quote unquote minority statutes to gain access. They might hire a couple, black folk and get the money, get the grants, and get rid of the people, and then say, it's quote unquote minority land. You see what I'm saying? And they've done that. And it's the same thing with all of the land, on this place. This is why they call it the hells of North America. This is why they call it the poor part of the planet Earth. It's a reason for all of this terminology that our ancestors used to describe who would be the inhabitants of this land, like who would be in position to own, operate, and control it. So this is what made it poor. You see what I'm saying? The poor in the mind, the poor in the spirit. So they would be running around here,
poor in how they produce the resources.
Right.
How they handle the resources.
Yeah, because they're not natural. You can't expect something that's unnatural to deal with anything natural.
They're resources, but not natural resources.
Right. So, that's it's a part of that. It's par for the course.
Indeed.
So we teleporting and stuff. Look at her. Look at her.
My phone.
You don't over there.
She be teleporting. She be
so right here we have we have the Om symbol and the lotus symbol. The Om, it used to be spelled AUM, but now people spell it just OM. And it symbolizes the universe and the ultimate reality. At the dawn of creation, the first immersed symbol consisting of 3 letters AUM. Basically, they're saying like the gods came from the sound of Om. So the universe, the gods, and all matter came from the sound of Om.
It's connected to your crown chakra, and your crown chakra is ruled by the universe, which is your connection. To like that spiritual birth, that I was talking about in some podcast. Once you reach the crown chakra, you're basically in your space of ascension.
Right.
And it goes to show how like symbols are for invocation. The only symbol being, a sound, and that sound invokes your crown chakra. It invokes your intuition, your spiritual self, your inner self, that feminine energy,
Indeed. I like it when I see it, even though before, long ago, like I didn't know what it meant. Hell, I was drawn to it. Like, it looks peaceful. I think it comes in peace. I
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes in peace. We have the lotus over here. Symbolizes purity, rebirth. That is also my logo for my business. And God knows how many times my business had died in my head and rebirthed again.
Mhm.
Especially when we go through them spells and water. And then, oh, all of
Oh,
a sudden you have something. Oh, what's coming? Oh, okay. You still here, girl. Just going through the mud, you going through the mud. But the lotus, yeah, it's a symbol of healing and it has been used in traditional Eastern medicine and cuisine since I think about 1400 BC.
okay.
It's a national flower. Yeah, and most and symbol of purity in Buddhist and Hindu traditions. The plant's medicinal usage goes back generations. In fact, I did not know that they use the lotus actually for like medicine.
Oh yeah. This
Mm-hmm.
guy he had blue lotus tincture that was for like
Oh,
nervousness and stuff like that. And then I know white lotus was used for a lot of things
mm-hmm.
as well in ancient Kemet that grew in that area. Um, and then it was
Yeah,
other
blue
joints.
lotus. Smoke. Mm-hmm.
It's a go-to. It's definitely a go-to. And they should start
Yeah.
putting the lotus. Like, you know how they have the Kundalini snake on all the medical symbols with the Ankh and stuff. They should like incorporate the lotus in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed, it should be there. Maybe
So
one
this
day.
was talking about the different symbols that we use today that be in alignment. And majorities, of course, are Greek. You got dove, and dove is
I
the
hate
symbol
that.
of Aphrodite. Though dove was my go-to as a child because in black culture it is dove is for the sensitive skin. But now I hate all of these soaps. I don't like any of them. I like handmade soaps made by the hands of aboriginals. Um, it makes me feel real fly and sassy, like. Not a fan.
Right.
Nike. The Nike swoosh is from what god was that? Hold on, I
The
wrote it
God
down.
Nike.
Oh, yeah, the Greek goddess of victory.
Mm-hmm.
Goodyear, of course, is Hermes. The foot there. Versace is Medusa, and NBC is Hera. So Hera had like 100 eyes. She was supposed to be omniscient. That's why she was fucking crazy and always chasing Zeus down. Like Hera and Zeus is
This
the
is
perfect
everything.
example of like why it's like the core story against polygamy in the eyes of a woman because every time Zeus decided to go out and do his thing, Hera always found out because she had 100 eyes, so her intuition was on a beam. She always found out, and she always did some nut shit. Like she was killing girlfriends, she was turning them into Medusas, she was
The
throwing them
Real
into the
Housewives of
stars.
Olympus, yo.
Yeah, she was killing their kids. Like she was
Yeah, whoop his
enslaving them.
ass. Whoop
She
his
was
ass.
on. She did everything but whoop Zeus's ass. That's the wild part. Did everything but whoop Zeus's ass. Whooped everybody else's ass down to the damn children who didn't even ask to be here, but
Sound
never
like a
did.
ratchet ass baby mama. Like, yeah, he can fuck with them other hoes, but he ain't going nowhere.
Right. I'll kill that hoe and her kids. Like what?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Like, damn.
This
So
is
that
so
that
ghetto.
shows no matter what that they're gonna always be together. That's what
Yeah.
that means.
Toxic love.
You can never have an alliance with that for no purpose.
Mm-mm.
They're not going to value
But I
any treaties or anything. They don't even value life. So why would you bring something to them to align with them?
Oh yeah,
Dang.
definitely. That's for
Was she
dog.
really her wife, his wife, or did they just have a baby together
No,
and just been a
no,
baby daddy, baby?
she was
She
the
might have been
one.
another one of his mistresses or some shit.
I thought it was interesting that it was the symbol for NBC because NBC is like the news, and they always be getting stories first and shit with the 100 eyes and being omniscient and always watching and stuff like that.
I always thought it was a peacock.
And if you notice that, but the eyes are on the feathers though.
Right.
And if you notice, a lot of the news, most of the news channels, they do have some type of omniscient symbol to show that they're watching. You got CBS with the eye. You
CBS
got
with the
Fox
eye.
News with the ziggurat. Where they used to chop the heads off and shit and let the heads roll, which is weird because given like the kind of content that the Fox company puts out with Ryan Murphy and shit, that's kind of weird. But yeah, they all,
Right on
use those
time.
symbols. This is the Merkaba, right, sis?
Mm-hmm.
That's right there is the flower of life.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes some of the images look different though, because I thought they got it mixed up. But
They got different.
yeah, different ones or whatever. I sent you. There's another one. Did you get the other one? I sent it like after that one.
I think
That
so.
one
What
was,
I like about these
yeah,
symbols is if you look, okay, so you know how you see the heliocentric of a model of how the sun and planets move in space. If you look
yeah.
downward, like you're looking down on the sun and seeing them come towards you, how they make their spirals, because they're not just making spirals around the sun, they're making their own spirals too. It comes out in these kind of like symbols when you look at the phases of Venus and Mercury and Jupiter and all that, like that, how they move in a circular motion. They move like this, they intertwine like this, the way the circles are intertwining and moving and stuff, and it makes that similar shape. So I thought that was cool. There are some images online that'll show you the pathway of those planets in our skies and how they do make those little tree of life type symbols. This is also the swastika
I can look at
history.
that thing all day, but I saw all kind of shapes and different things formed in there.
And they
Okay,
would
now I
move that.
can't get the other one. I got this one.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
see all
look at
kinds
it
of
long enough, it starts moving.
yeah.
Yeah. And then you see in the triangles, it brings the creation of life. This is also what the zygote looks like, when you have a fertilized egg and it starts splitting, this is what it eventually starts to look like this. And it's also
It's
what the birth of a star looks like too. When a star is born, it looks like this. And when a star is starting to dwindle and is about to die, it starts to look like this.
I see some prism. I see
You said you see prison.
a prism.
I see
I don't never want to see this.
I see an eye in the
It's Star
middle.
David. Mm-hmm.
I see a diamond in the middle.
I see a TP.
They forever, right? Them diamonds.
Yeah.
I see some
Oh,
all kind of shit. It's pretty
they're
nice.
very fun to
Pretty
draw
nice.
too. Like drawing these things. I remember at the Franklin Institute out here in Philly, they had the drawing with the pencil and you just do it in a circle and you're moving in a circle in a circle. And ever since I learned how to do that, that was something that I would doodle in my notebooks, is those circle things. It's very meditative to do that
I used to
for
make
a
some
long
loose
time.
petals that kind of look like this. I used to make them little petals and stuff that look like the tips of the outer circles or whatever.
Oh
I used to
yeah.
just draw them little petals like that. I remember doing it in middle and high school, just just drawing it all day long, and it was very relaxing.
Yeah. See,
So,
as children, we already knew what to do. This is like the
mhm.
different. So while we had nothing to do with the cross, the swastika actually had like a history in different parts of the world and different cultures. It was initially used as a symbol of peace and togetherness and unity. Um, and then it got turned into something that was not actually, it was still a symbol of peace, but it was peace amongst the Nazis.
What's going on with the
Gangster.
Celt symbol with the legs?
I don't know. He
Yeah.
definitely got legs coming out of his head and stuff like that. That's interesting.
He kind of look like the Ghostbuster, the little ghost from the Ghostbuster symbol.
He does. He does.
Yeah. It's always she before it's he. So just think about she before you think about he. And
Word.
these adaptations that go along with
Indeed.
changing the symbol.
Right.
I
Look,
think, I guess I
yeah,
say
look,
he.
y'all be taking care of everything. That's why she always look. Y'all be taking care of everything. Like you see what I'm saying? Like so that all if you look at all of these symbols, you see your duty and responsibility to all of the cardinal points, all of the virtues, all of the directions, all of that. You everywhere at one time. That's why you just had that symbol with all of the eyes. Like so, every time he did some dumb shit, she was on it. Like, what did that
Yeah.
tell you? Like, I'm everywhere. Okay, dummy, do
Mm-hmm.
something else. Stuff. You see what I'm saying? So we be trying. Okay, we slow. Okay, we slow. We be trying some shit. You know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, see you, sink that, sink that.
She
I
got
knew
the all
that.
seeing
Sink that.
eyes, huh?
Mm.
Right, right.
A lot of people
She
don't know the
definitely
difference
does.
between the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus.
I didn't know
Um,
until you sent me this image because I never really got into Egyptian symbology. I won't even hold you.
yeah. So I'll let you know that the okay, so your left eye, which is the god with Ra. Um, I'm sorry, the left eye is Taurus. Usually depicted as the left eye represents healing, protection, and wisdom. Horus, the god of sky, was the son of Isis, goddess of the moon, and Orisis, god of the dead. The eye of Ra that functions, well, now we got the eye of Ra, it functions as a feminine counterpart to the god of Ra. So you have the god of Ra. So you have in the eye of Ra, you have Ra himself. Then you have the goddess. Um, and then you have the association with light, and you have protection and procreation. And what's crazy is the eye of Ra means female, but
Yeah,
you got the
they,
god
I
here.
was just saying that in my head. That goes back to the science that the sun is actually feminine and it's actually the moon that's masculine
Uh-huh.
because the moon provides separation. The moon provides separation of the days, and that creates the time as we know it. Now we got weeks and months and so on, so on, so forth. But the sun is what gives life,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun is
That is true.
where
Mm-hmm.
you keep your sanity. It triggers all of our crown chakra areas. It's our connection to the universe, and that's what with mother, and that's the sun.
Yeah. I've never I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm telling you, everything we've been taught
I
so fucking backwards, bro.
Yeah,
Everything.
I ain't never really had a connection with the moon like that per se. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a connection
Yeah,
with the moon. We are people of the sun anyways. So maybe the
right.
other people might be, of the moon. Um I mean, the moon is good to charge the crystals, but there's so many
We
ways you can charge
talked
crystals
about
yourself.
that when we went
You can get
over
in.
our previous episodes when we talked about Yakub and the sun cycle and the moon cycle and all that shit. Like we talked about that, like how
Yeah.
because we everything on this planet survived from the sun, and heat. and being outside, like even our happiness, our joy, how we feel about ourselves, like our celebrations, all that. And like all of their celebrations happen at nighttime, their dinners and
Mm-hmm.
and eating and shit. Like it's under the moon. And we're always paying attention to the moon cycles, and the moon is controlling the waters and all that stuff like that. And we're, the copper colored people, we're on land, and it's the sun that's ruling the things on the land. This is us. And that's why, when we had the Pathway to Sovereignty episode, when we had the goddess on, she was talking about us moving off of the water, because we're not water people. That's not our law. You got to get us off that shit, and put us on land as living beings on this land. And that's the science behind all of it. They got us underneath the wrong order, underneath the wrong jargon with our shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the stories are interconnected because you are the mothers of the universe. And whatever you speak unto the water manifests. So the primordial waters of your mind and of your body. So in your womb space, your primordial water is where life comes from. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a spark that's there, that's you as the sun, but it's also a regulation of you in the moon. So there's
Mhm.
common affecting that goes along, and this is why they used it in regards to water. So it's both of your cosmology. So it's you as the sun, and it's you as the moon. It's you as the planet. It's you as the plants. It's all of these things are interwoven. So there is no
Mm-hmm.
real separation. So this is why they talk about the deportation of the sun. I mean, of the moon from the earth. The moon
And
was a part of
I
the earth.
a lot of their news
So
stories be like
right,
emotional invocation.
right. So
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right
if
now,
we're
like when
coming,
when the moon is full, I ain't with it. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm on my cycle around that time. And you know how the moon affects the waters and the moon affects your body with your womb and stuff around that time stuff too. I don't even feel like being bothered. So yeah, and
so
then
they're
you
all
have so
connected,
many
right?
different stories or whatever about when the full moon happened and people get, emotionally out of control or what have you. So yeah.
Also associated with
That might be the
fertility
chaotic
too.
part of the femininity, you know what I'm saying? It might be the divine femininity, the sun and the moon. The moon is the chaotic side.
Well, you
A lot of
said
people
the
do
eye of
forget that.
Horus is death, right?
The eye of Ra is associated with light. Now Horus, um, well, no, yep. Horus is the yeah, Horus is goddess. Okay,
would
the Horus
that would make
goddess
sense
child
that it would be in control
goddess
of
of
your
the moon.
cycle of that
So Horus
cleanse.
comes from the moon god. Horus is the son of the of
So that would
or
make sense of it being in charge of your cleanse or whatever, because like you're getting rid of something, you're doing away that death, that removal, that transformation or whatever.
so you
So
got
there's a
the
relation,
sun and you got the moon right there.
right? You have a relationship between the seen and the
Mm-hmm.
unseen. So there's a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the conduit? Who's the Lord of the underworld? So who provides the space to go from the seen world to the unseen world? These are all questions that you can answer by looking in the mirror. So okay,
Right.
who's present in both of those worlds at the same time? So that because we did the betrayal, and I'm speaking to the melanated man. Since we did the betrayal of the mother, since we betrayed black women, you see what I'm saying? Since we did that, that's where the separation goes. That's the process of that. So now we begin to look at certain things. If I started getting into any of that, kind of stuff, we'll look at certain things like we was looking at Mardi Gras and that claim to fame. We wouldn't be claiming a lot of this stuff that we're talking about in regards to that. So, the judgment that comes, that judgment is ordered, but it looked like chaos. So you come out of these, like in the Nile Valley, they say you come out of the waters of noon. You see what I'm saying? So you come out of these primordial waters. And if you look in Genesis, they start talking about the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So there's a connection in regards to water and light, and three-fourths of the planet being water, and all of those connections in regards to that. And then the sun and moon having attracting powers on the planet, and that relationship. So there's always a relationship that denotes a family. So this is why there's an attack on family and what's considered family nowadays, and who you build in a family with, because these eyes are on the same face. You see what I'm saying? So they're in the same family. So one lost an eye in the battle. So in regards to defense of the family, uh, the Heru, this is where they get the hero story from, is fighting with his uncle Set. So we're talking about the phases in the battle between the appearance of the sun, because the sun doesn't move, but the earth is moving. So the phases of the sun have an effect, just as the phases of the moon, like y'all know, have an effect. So the positioning of the sun, the positioning of the moon, the positioning of the planets, whether they're in precession or they're in retrograde, they all have affecting powers on the conscious of the prime mover that's moving them in motion. So that's our mind. So you got even if you look at the brain, you got two hemispheres. So our ancients gave us stories to explain our connection to nature, our connection to the family of God for a particular reason, and made it more palatable, because it's more palatable for us to pass the story, or explain the tradition in a level that everybody could understand it. What we begin to do was give our traditions away. Like you were saying, Sunshine, earlier, we started telling people our stories. We started telling people our stories. We started giving away our secrets and our ability to manipulate the land, to till the earth, to have things grow and come out of the earth. This is why we put the body in the earth again after the spirit passes. So that transition, so we put it back from whence it came. So they took all of these things and made business out of them. You got to pay to be born, and you got to pay to die. You see what I'm saying? So there's no connection or sacredness to life. So if they convince God that God can actually die and God can kill itself, there's no connection to life or death. So the whole balance is upset. So losing this eye represented a death for Heru, or as it's termed right here, Horus. So from his family, who were the children of Ra, they had a resonance in regards to life and death. So just like we saw with the lotus blossom, and we saw with the trees, it's that cycle of appearing, life, death, and rebirth. So we began to think those things, and those things became true. So when you thought you live and die, all right, so you live and die. Like, so what happens after you live and you die? Where do you go? So now a place has to be prepared for you now, because you think when you leave you have to go someplace. You see what I'm saying? Like, so if we've been here, even with that, if we've been here, we've always been here. When you leave here physically, where do you go? You're here still, right? So you're still here. You understand what I'm saying? So where's heaven? Here. Where's hell? Here. Where's the afterlife? Here. So if we've always physically been here, then they tell us all of these stories about we coming from all of these places, we're still here. We still exist here. Even with the Greek mythology, they say the gods that's on Mount Olympus, they're still here.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So all of these aspects in regards to our connections to them go with the stories that we agree, the symbols that we agree, those sensible images used to express a hidden meaning all correlate and correspond with based off
That's
of that.
what
So
our people believed in ancient Kemet. There was three souls. It was the Ka, the Ba, and the Ak. And like one, of course, you have the you
you said the
throw.
ops?
It's not Ankh. It's without the N. It's just AKH.
I thought you said ops.
Oh.
I'm just messing with you. I heard you guys.
But the first soul is the soul that you do away with, naturally, the traditional way we would know, like, you get rid of your body, your spirit, and it goes, into another life. And it's the idea that your body is still here and your soul still needs to come back to its body. So that's why they would bury the body with its property. Sometimes we'll have people come back and check on it and guards and this, that, and the third. And that was the same type of energy for the Ba. But the Ba could travel between the living and the dead. And the Ba was something that they had while they were alive too. And for a while, it seemed like only the royal people had the Ba. But after a while, it was like, everybody had it. You just had to learn how to utilize it. You could travel between the living and the dead whenever you want to. And then you had the Ak was like if you were a blessed soul. So like, once you got to that point of Maya and they measured your heart or whatever to see if you were a good person, that would determine, if your soul got to sit with the other blessed souls, amongst the gods and things. And now like you have an influence over your environment. People are still talking about you. That's when you become a historical person, blah, 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 so you have those, different souls that are in different planes. But yeah, ultimately they're all still here. They're
Yeah,
just here on different levels.
that was called the cot, what you were saying. You said the ot? Yeah, the cot.
Mm.
Same thing.
Well, this is some very enlightening information here.
Yeah, y'all mad deep. I'm telling you.
We learned
I had to
a
get
whole
my
lot.
I had to ask
Within the
Siri, you
last
know what I'm saying?
few
I had to
minutes.
get myself together over here. You know what I'm saying? I had to ask Siri and get qualified to come over here. Because look, it's broken
Not
words and
Siri.
target. Serious B. Like I'm serious
How
B.
dare
Like
you correct Sunshine?
I didn't. She corrected me. She was like, "Tell them what I said, what I had meant to say." Okay. She was like, "Speak now or forever
So you
hold your
have
peace." I was like, "All right."
the ba, the cot,
Oh, the
and
car, the bar, and the cot.
indeed. Do we have another symbol? Because
we
Knowledge for Allah certainly broke down the Eye of Ra and Horus for us.
oh we have
Sankofa, you birdie. I've seen so many people have this symbol on them.
this is the
And
Dinka symbol for wisdom. And so this is the symbol that they decided to use for the remembrance of slavery, to say that they look back on the past and receive the knowledge and the lessons of those past, experiences to move forward with.
So the realm of the Agun, this is what this bird is representing, looking back to move forward. So you're taking that divine wisdom from your ancestral lineage, you're going back and fetching it. So this is why the symbol is going like looking back. You know, I know they demonize that with Lot's wife in the Bible, so they don't want you looking back. It's crazy. They don't want you looking back for a particular reason. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So going back to that matriarchal that DNA, like you're going back that mitochondrial DNA, like that. Who has that? Who can look back? You see what I'm saying? Like, so that space in regards to that, keeping that legacy, keeping that lineage, that tradition, and using life forward to correct the wrongs and the transgressions and the
Mm-hmm.
things that we learned that are no longer suited in this particular
Mm-hmm.
time going forward righteously. So we depend on that sight beyond sight, that beyond the veil guidance to push us forward. You know, these things look and seem philosophical, but they're actual. These are real. There's no place that you can go into, whether you look at a corporation or anything, where they don't have some sort of space, some kind of inhabitants from their ancient custom or culture
Mm-hmm.
where their ancestors dwell. So our body is supposed to
That's
be
true.
where our ancestors dwell. You know, so we're supposed to have that renewed remembrance. This is where I was talking about the purpose on purpose. This is where your purpose came from. Your purpose don't come from you; it come through you, based off of your ancestral lineage. So somebody in your line didn't wasn't able to complete a task, and you said, "I'll do it," and then you volunteered and you grabbed a head and put it on and ran up in here. Tell me, I'll be back in 3 minutes, and you got a life sentence over here. You see what I'm saying? So you hear, and their destiny is tied to your destiny here. Like your mission is tied to their mission, so they're assigned. So whomever and however, they're all tied together. So they guide you through these particular paths in the same way. If you look at the Osirian tradition, that a Tahuti would guide, Heru. So we have oracles in place that we consult for that kind of wisdom. So your tradition will tell you, what that is. Some folks got prayers, some folks got meditation, some people go see people. Some people got the cards, they come see you. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not in a position to where they have enough confidence in themselves. So they like, do that thing you be doing. You see what I'm saying? Do that thing you be doing to tell me what I need to be doing. So it's like, all right, I'll put my trust and my faith in you, but I won't put my trust and faith in myself. You see what I'm saying? So, okay, you got
Mm.
an intermediary in regards to that. So that becomes your saving grace. So this is why folks got them crosses and they got some dead dude on there because that becomes their saving grace because this is my intermediary for what I no longer feel comfortable in doing or forgot how to do. I gotta go to somebody else to do it. So I gotta ask in Jesus' name. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta
Mm.
ask in whomever's name and this name. I gotta come in this name or that name because I no
Yeah.
longer see my name, my family name, my tradition's name. You asking the name. You can ask in your mama's name, your grandmama's name, your father's name, your grandfather's name, or your uncle, whomever amongst your departed ancestral spirits for that. You're asking right in the name, but they're answering to these other names. Now try using their names. Try
Mm-hmm.
using their names and see where it's at. It's like, oh, okay, look, who was hitting that number? Oh, Grandpa such and such. Oh, let me go get some whiskey. And look, we about to have a convo with Grandpa because we need to hit this number. Grandpa was hitting the number. Oh, who was busting heads? It's time to bust heads. Oh, we about to call up all of them folks who was busting heads. So
Mm-hmm.
purposefully, they don't go into no structures and put up anything without first placing something from their culture or tradition as a sigil marking to let anybody know who come in this establishment who really running it. You see what I'm saying? So they
Indeed.
dedicated a space in their home and in their life for this type of force to come in, whether it's an ancestral force or force of nature, mainly an ancestral force, to ensure that they're prosperous. And when it's time for it to go, they take that and they burn this other shit to the ground. So this Sankofa means that no matter where you are, no matter where you're going, that you take these traditions with you, that you take your ancestral spirits, your spirit guides, those folks that are there with you, your spiritual army with you, and you're armed with your tradition. So when life be lifing and you will think you got nobody else you remember, whether they seen or unseen, I got some folks with me. You see what I'm saying? So you got that push to propel you forward because you're not here by yourself. You're not here by your own volition, even though you volunteered to come. You still serve in the army. You still got to go do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? So this Sankofa bird is a reminder because that's where the Memorial Day thing comes from, because that giving proper burials to those bodies of those departed spirits that's here in this land, whose blood was shed in this land, to give them a proper burial, to give them a proper place in the space in their land that they inhabited, that they fought and they killed for, and they ultimately died for. So, in respect to the ground that we walk on, and the places that we inhabit, that we allow them just to wreck creation and build monstrosities over without no kind of protest or war. Because any other place, when you desecrate holy ground or ancestral land, there's a fight. So if this is our land, what did they build over the mass graves, the identified graves of their ancestors? You see what I'm saying? Of our ancestors. So if you have an onus to this place, what's supposed to happen to these interlopers and the grave desecrations and the robbing and the stealing and the killing that's still taking place? So this Sankofa bird is a symbol of remembering that. You see what I'm saying? So we remember, we act. So where's the action? You understand what I'm saying? Where's the action? Like, no, we're not acting like it's a play. We're acting in the space of retribution and renewal.
What are you doing after you remember?
Right. The real Avengers. This is why they're playing around with the symbols. You see what I'm saying? We the Avengers of our bloodline. So because we remember, we act, So
I like. Well, that's all we had.
Flyness.
This is our last online virtual live episode for this season. Our season finale. Yeah.
Get a big round of applause for Knowledge Born. All of them. Knowledge Radio. Hey, this indeed was a wonderful and enlightening and informative.
For real.
I love this. Y'all doing this in Gemini season. The day after my birthday, the day of my spiritual father's birthday, I'm all gonna be in the building, okay?
Oh,
Curtis Mayfield. That's my spiritual daddy Curtis right Mayfield. Yeah.
I love Mr. Curtis Mayfield.
They call him the high priest of soul. And if y'all look at me a little close, y'all can see a little resemblance. You know what I'm saying? Don't look too much.
Yeah, it's there. Oh yeah, it's there. The glasses. You play the guitar too?
I play a couple of chords. I don't know about all that.
Oh, okay.
I get my high priest on like we use music. I use communication, I guess. And that's what Sunshine said. I'm one of them folk right there who can communicate.
Indeed. Well, hopefully you'll bring yourself and your talents on June the 3rd when we will have our live studio audience and our five. How many people we having on the panel, sis? 5-person panel?
Yeah, we're gonna have 5 people on the panel. We need some masculine energy on the panel, you know.
Definitely.
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
yeah, we're extending our invitation out to you to be on the panel.
Panel.
If you're able to.
We
Yes.
I'm
you
here.
can have all the bells and whistles. You on the panel, you sit in the
Mhm.
VIP, you
Ooh,
know,
yeah.
you
Okay.
chilling.
Yeah. It's a good
I ain't got a host.
panel.
No, if you don't want to, you don't have
Oh, look, okay, me with a good time. Okay, Columbus.
Indeed, Columbus,
to.
Georgia. And people gonna come out because y'all fresh meat in the area. So people gonna want to know who Sunshine is, who Knowledgeable Allah is, what y'all talking about.
Last time I
Yeah.
was in Columbus, Georgia, I was learning how to kill people.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Fort Benning.
It's very
Mm-hmm.
exciting.
Arm and
Either
infantry.
Fort Benning or Oakland Park or Victory Drive. Oh, the Dub.
Mhm.
either on base or on the streets.
I definitely was for the streets.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna let
Indeed.
we gonna close this joint out.
Well, today's episode was brought to you by Let's Nobody's Collection and Body and Yoni Essentials. And
Yes,
Do the Knowledge Radio.
knowledge. We appreciate you coming out tonight. Everybody, make sure you
Indeed.
guys go ahead and subscribe to Do the Knowledge Radio. My man's has lives literally every day, all day long. And anytime he's not live, he has over 3,000 videos that you can watch and catch
Woo.
up while you wait for him to be live again. Um, so much knowledge on your page, so many dope alignments. A lot of people I have aligned with in the present, I have aligned through, watching your episodes and being like, "Ooh, I need to reach out to this person," or "I need to reach out to this person." Um, and for that reason, muchas gracias for what you do, for being
Mm-hmm.
that control, that communication controller, for being that programmer, that program manager and communications. Like, that is such an important job. You have no idea, to get people to come in alignment, to be aware that there are other people out there doing things, and to use your space and time selflessly to, you know, align so many souls. Like, that's, amazing. And it's a big responsibility and a lot of times a thankless job. So thank you for what you do. We appreciate you for what you do. Yes, yes, definitely.
He deserves an
You're
award.
you
Award.
deserve
Yeah. Hold that thing up proud.
Let me tell
Indeed.
you.
Indeed.
amazing, amazing. And it's super
Yeah.
dope that, like, our season finale episode is called History Leaders of Today. So, some of the dialogue I wanted to engage in is speaking on, naming a few of the individuals that we would, consider to be history leaders of today, and really getting into dialogue on how we should, you know, immortalize them, I guess, in the ways that, our history leaders have been immortalized thus far, maybe some innovative ways, or, keeping some traditions going as well. So definitely would love to have you on the panel for that, because you do have a sense of immortalizing our history leaders of today already with what you do on your interview, as well as
Mm-hmm.
yourself, for being that person that does what you do, and having these conversations with people and getting their information out there and aligning people, with each other, which, in turn, ends up being like the creation of something beautiful and revolutionary that, creates more historical moments, and we could say, oh, knowledge put that together, you're gonna be one of them dudes where like every time somebody looking at history picture or whatever, they're going knowledge in the back. Like, there you go again. You knew him too. There you go again. There you go again.
Yeah, wonder who taking all these damn pictures. Like, who taking all these damn pictures?
Most photographed in the
Everybody who
yearbook.
got one of these. There's always somebody with one of these recording.
For real.
Somebody's always watching.
But yeah, it's definitely an honor to have you on Virgo Virgin Talk. We appreciate you. But we're not going to keep y'all too long. It's already been like 2 hours and 45 minutes, cuz. Appreciate having y'all tonight. This was a really good talk. This was a really good episode.
Yes, it was. I got to go back and watch it as soon as we get off. I got to go to bed with it. Yeah, can you believe that? After we record each episode, I go back and look at each one. Already 2 hours in.
It's gonna be on Netflix, and these sweet potatoes I got on the stove.
Hey.
Oh yeah, the Megan. I said I was gonna look at Megan.
Oh yeah, might as well do that.
Yeah, I'll look at our episode later. I've already been here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Knowledge Born Allah. And we shall see y'all next time at the girl, I was about to say Let's Nobody's convention.
You said that too, and I was like, oh.
You should come through Moon Day Motivation because Sunshine said she would come through on the Moon Day. So you should come through on Moon Day.
On the Moon Day?
We can see. Yeah, we can see what motivation. Yeah.
That was cool.
Motivate people.
Yeah.
Come through and motivate the thugs. Now you know the thugs need motivation.
Yeah, I'll be on my thug thing. My thug thing, motivate. All right, I come through. I don't want y'all to beg though. Please don't beg. Okay. I will come.
It's a good time. Definitely was a good time.
What time is it? What time does the motivational Moon Day?
What was it, 6, right?
Yeah. It's like 6.
What am I doing Moon Day? I believe I can make it.
Praise the Lord.
I don't have anything scheduled Monday at 6. I think I'm free. I think I can make it. I can pull up. Y'all just tell me where to come, when to come, and I'll be there. But yes, we will see everyone next time when we'll be live during our season finale episode here in Columbus, Georgia at the Compound Center. Be there or be square. You don't want to miss it. If they want to reach out to us, look on this flyer right here. I thought this was going to still have the flyer out so people can study it a little bit.
I had to go this for a minute. That's why I was like, all right, let's get up out of here.
All right. We got to dip on them.